Warning. The Pop Punk Book Club features heavily biased opinions and unapologetically wild takes performed either by professionals or under the supervision of professionals to ensure the safety of performers and animals alike. We may sound confident, but our views are based entirely on personal feelings. Accordingly, the PPBC and the producers must insist that everyone attempt to recreate and reenact these stunts and activities. Join us at poppunkbookclub.com.
Dude, I don't know why I'm wearing a jumper.
Yeah, man. It's not cold.
Actually, there is a purpose of me wearing my jumper today.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I was here earlier setting stuff up and, getting things ready for recording and doing extra podcast work. And I just left it till last minute. So, as you know, I had to run home and get dinner.
Yeah.
But I realized as I was leaving the house, like, if I leave the house and I have to eat my dinner in the car, I'm like, I'm going to spill it all over me.
Yeah, okay.
And so I wore this as a strategic bib, you know what I mean? Because I can't trust myself with my food. And I, first speed bump, nearly deep throat my fork. But I drove pretty much all with my knees eating this dinner. But I kept my jumper on. I've been sweating ever since because.
What's this going to be? Man.
Did we talk about it?
Yeah. How good was that show?
So,
I very nearly wore my Motion City shirt, actually.
Honestly,
I was like, no, I'll do that another time. I actually thought there's a decent chance Jay wears his.
It crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was looking for what to wear tonight. And I was like, what's about that Sam wears his too? And we can be twins.
I was like, I'll just bring a couple of shirts. Just in case.
Well, for anyone who obviously doesn't know what we did, we went and saw Motion City soundtrack pretty recently. It was, a couple of weeks ago now? It was meant to be with Yellowcard, but the singer got sick.
Yeah.
I think was the reason. I'm pretty stoked though because Sydney didn't get a show because they cancelled everything. Yeah, but for us, we got Motion City. Were like, we'll still play, and dude, wasn't it like one of the best things you ever seen?
Yeah.
Like they are so good, it's unreal.
It was also fitting seeing them the exact same venue we saw them at. 20 years ago, maybe?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is so good.
Although that was inside, this was outside.
Well, it was inside for
totally
you.
different vibe. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naughty boy.
Yeah.
What'd you get up to?
I was a naughty boy.
That's right. I genuinely, okay, so you were, to explain that a little bit better, you didn't sneak in, did you? You got fake IDs?
No, I think climbed under the fence.
Oh, so you snuck
It was either
in?
a climb under or over the fence type situation. Yeah. So we must have been, I reckon we must have been 17.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
tickets, I remember, were $40 and I didn't earn much more than that per week. So that was so much money for me.
But so that was the thing I wasn't 100% sure of. Looking back, I think we bought tickets thinking we were going to be able to get in.
I think, the delusion of a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
But no.
So somehow it didn't feel morally wrong to jump the fence because I was
because you had a wristband.
to see this
it's official.
Yeah.
You had a wristband.
Yeah.
I remember looking in and I saw you in there just waving and you had your wristband on. And I'm like, good on you. But I went with Luke and we went in there and we couldn't get in at all because we were underage and we couldn't afford it. So we just said to the security
so you didn't
guard,
buy tickets?
We didn't buy tickets at all.
Oh, okay.
And, we were 17. I was only fuel was costing me more than $40 a week. And I think I earned $80 or $100 a week back then.
Yeah.
I didn't earn much at all. So I was like, I just really can't afford it, but I'd love to see them. And they play with MXPX.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a killer show.
That's interesting because I've split those shows in my mind.
Have you?
I was I saw MXPX at the Bar on the Hill and I saw Motion City at the Bar on the Hill and it was the one show.
I haven't split them. And I can tell you why. Because when we got there, if you remember, we were outside the the side area of it. And you couldn't see much inside, but there was a glass window and you could see when people came on stage, you'd see a bit of the back of someone's head or a little bit of a guitar headstock move past or something like that. And we watched Motion City soundtrack outside, but we were sitting just on a ledge outside and the security guard came over to us who was probably late 50s, real tough looking woman. It had been a harsh wind. Her face was just completely weathered. And she's
seen some things.
Yeah, exactly. And has probably kicked out her fair share of punks us. And we said to her, I was like, hey, look, is it okay if we just sit outside and listen? Because genuinely, we want to just watch this show. We just haven't bought tickets because we're underage and we don't want to sneak in and do the wrong thing. And I'm thinking about you and everyone else going, oh, we're not going to do that. But can we just sit here if we don't cause any problems? And she said, usually I'd say no, but I did the security at the football last week. And that's when our band got picked to play at the football as like winning a round of a band competition or something.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we played at the Knights Stadium, and she said, I did the security there, and I know you guys from last week, so for sure. And dude, didn't we feel like $1 million? So we're there like watching, and we heard like Motion City playing, and like before they went on, I can't remember who was on like earlier before them in the inside, but outside, do you remember Airborne played? Do you remember Airborne?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that because
like a
80s
like
rock.
80, Aussie kind of rock.
Yeah. And then you used to go around school going, thank you, all the time, because you just imagining the guy from Airborne talk like that. But I looked down into like the little green room down there because I saw some movement, and MXPX were down in the area, so I don't disconnect that in my mind at all. And they looked outside to me, and like I just waved at them, and they're like, hey, and waved back, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is incredible. And then in front of us was just this green door. So like, I didn't know what that was or didn't really think about it much. And then all of a sudden, after Motion City set, which was like, that was incredible just hearing them play. It was just after Commit This to Memory. So it was like such a good era.
Yeah.
Then again, we saw them the other night. It was like watching a greatest hits set. I knew every single song to some extent. Like there was not one song they played that I wasn't that familiar with.
I thought there was one song where I couldn't quite remember it. But otherwise,
But other ones I remember listening to, they just played like they have too many good songs. They didn't even play their new song that they just released a couple of years ago.
Right,
I figured they'd be playing that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I remember they came out after it, and so they finished this show, and then the green door opened, and Motion City Soundtrack came outside, and we're like, is this real? Like, this is crazy. Like, you guys had bought tickets, and I had like come to terms with and was very reserved myself to the fact that you guys were seeing the show. We were just watching from outside, but like, I'm like, how did we win so hard? So we ended up chatting to them for a while.
We're in there thinking, those losers outside.
But yeah, so we're outside watching Motion City. All of a sudden they're out, and it was Matt, the bass player, Josh, the guitarist, and Jesse, the keys player. And so we chatted to them for like 30 minutes, it felt like. It was, and genuinely, it probably was that long. It's not like it just felt like that. But what was so weird about it was the fact that whenever I asked Matt specifically, because he was the one that was like kind of chatting the most, anything about like, I'm so like, blah, blah, I don't know what to say. I didn't expect to meet you.
Yeah.
And now isn't that a dream for like, especially a young like music fan, to meet like someone you love and look up to in an environment where they've got time to chat and want to?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a meet and greet or anything. So,
I reckon there'd be a lot of bands that wouldn't even give you the time though.
Exactly. But the best part about him was that every time I asked him any question about like, what have you guys been up to? Or like, what, are you recording again? Like, I love your album. He's like, oh, dude, anyway, how's Australia? Like, what's things been like for you? And I was like, oh, it doesn't matter about me. Like, tell me more about you. And he's like, what do you mean it doesn't matter about you? It doesn't matter about us. This is your country. Tell me more about you. And that moment, I was like, I am going to love this band for the rest of my life, because they cared more about me than they did talking about themselves. They just wanted to know all about Australia and all that kind of stuff. But then that's that one thing that like genuinely was one of my biggest regrets in life. I remember telling you this, that Matt said to me, he's like, do you know anywhere around here that we can hold a koala? And I was like, yeah, Black Butt Reserve, just up the road. I'm sure you can make it happen there. He's like, do you know where that is? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, do you want to take us there tomorrow? Like, can you actually make it happen? Because we just cannot find a way to hold a koala. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm taking Motion City Soundtrack to hold koalas at Black Butt Reserve. And he's like, I'm going to go tell my manager that we've finally figured it out, and I'll let you know when you can pick us up. And I'm like, this can't be real. And while he was gone, I think, or maybe just before, I got Josh, the guitarist, to sign the back of something, but all I had on me was my license. So it was like, I've still got my L plate license with Josh's signature from Motion City Soundtrack on the back of it.
You know what would have been the great way to end that evening is if you took them to see the koalas at Black Butt that night, like jump the fence at Black Butt and like sneak into the koala reserve.
I should have suggested that, because he comes back all like super bummed out and like super like, oh, he's like, man, I'm sorry. I'm like, what? And he's like, our day off that I thought we had tomorrow is actually, we play Sydney tomorrow. It's the day after that. So we'll be in Sydney for our day off. And I was like, oh man. He's like, I'm so sorry, dude. We would have loved to do that. So I've always wished I had an opportunity to like chat to them again and be like, I was meant to take you to hold koalas. He'd never remember. But like, it's just genuinely like, I've never forgotten that.
You run into him at the end of the show that we saw the other week, like you're holding a koala. Like, I want to make it up to you.
Let's make it happen. I stole it from Black Butt. There's like helicopters coming in over the top. Quick, hold it. But dude, it was the best. And then seeing them the other night was just like genuinely, there was that moment where I looked at you and was like, because there was a bit of vibe in the air of like, oh, Yellow Card's not playing. So it was plain white tees and Motion City Soundtrack, and that's all it's going to be. But then there was this moment where like it clicked for me. And I remember just like turning to you being like, dude, we have an opportunity here to just be with Motion City Soundtrack fans in this beautiful outdoor setting that with like great sound. We're not going to be that far from the front without having to be right in the pit. We're like 6 rows back or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it where I took a photo and I put it up on the wall. It's up there, right? But we're not that far back. And I was like, we were dead center right where the sound converged. I was like, this is like our like private Motion City Soundtrack concert. And it was hit after hit after hit. And man, I've never enjoyed a show so much as I did that set. I'm so proud to be wearing this shirt as a result. But they killed it. Like,
oh yeah, like the singer, like his voice is still amazing. The keyboardist is still jumping all over the stage, still screaming out into the audience, like without a microphone, just screaming out above the entire band.
But genuinely, man, it was so good. That was just one of the best nights ever.
Oh man, I've just been tired.
You've been tired.
Yeah,
that's the problem with getting old.
I got this new coffee maker.
Yeah,
and I'm adjusting to it at the moment, and it's a struggle.
What's his name?
But it's a cold brew coffee maker.
Oh, yeah.
You're not a coffee drinker, right?
No.
Yeah. So there are people out there that drink coffee. So it's like this cold brew coffee maker where you mix it yourself with like the ground beans, you add water. It's super simple. But you play around with the like the concentration, and you can like make it as strong or as weak as you want it to. Anyway, so I set it up. I had one like in the morning, all good, goes down. It's nice. I'm don't mind a coffee in the afternoon, like just after lunch, sort of, just to kind of get through the rest of the day. I had one at maybe like 2:00. And
there's a rule with coffee, isn't there? Like, don't have it after a certain time.
Coffee doesn't normally affect me, like in the sense that like it won't normally like keep me up, sort of thing. Like it just like will help me to kind of like concentrate or whatever. But like usually, if I have one at like 2:00 in the afternoon, I'll be fine to go to bed at normal time. I didn't get tired until about 3 a.m.
Oh,
I was I'm
what was it
at 3 a.m. like wired, like literally not even sleepy. I was like,
have you seen George of the Jungle?
Yeah.
You know the part where he just chews the coffee and he's like, jumpa, 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 jumpa. That's what I just imagine you doing around your apartment. Are you house three?
Man, I was like cleaning the house at that time of the morning as well.
That's meth behavior.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I'm someone with like a serious like substance abuse addiction or like manic episode, like cleaning the house at that time of the day. But I mean, I got through a lot of podcast prep.
Did you ever find out what was going on with the?
I think it's just like, because I'm just not used to it. Like I've never used this sort of thing before. And so just like trying to work out what is the right amount of coffee to water ratio. Like too much. Yeah.
I had it set to meth level.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Do you remember I showed you that band from America where they were like the bunch of dudes outside of like the Sombreros restaurant, and they're like singing Josie, and like they're young, they're like teenagers-ish.
Yes.
And they're like singing Josie by Blink, and we're like, how sick is that?
Yeah.
They're like proper like blowing up now. Like they've kept at like content creation and like being good at what they do, and they're just nailing it. They're doing so good. I want to show you one of their tracks that I saw on TikTok and just be like, isn't this so sick for like people to like be carrying the torch of that, like the sound that they do in the modern era? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, which is incredible. It's really funny though, because all 4 of them, like they're like black, right? And people in the comments are always just like making puns about that, and they've embraced it and made it really funny.
Yeah, right.
And they did a show the other day, and someone yells out like, "Oh, Blink-182" to them. And then the singer goes, "Yeah, we've got Dark Hoppus on bass and Travis Darker on drums." Man, they're so funny.
So wait, cool. Is it all Blink themed?
No, they just write pop punk music, and people are just going, "Oh, what's accessible? What do I know as a reference point?" Yeah. Blink-182, right? Listen how sick this sounds, like genuinely, like so good. Check that out on my phone. I would have killed to write a pop punk song like that back in the day. So good.
It's an original.
I keep on failing, I can't pass a test.
That's like early 2000s pop punk as well. Like
exactly. They are just like absolutely killing it. Anyway, scroll up. I mean down, so you go to the next video. Other way.
Hello. Yeah, no bar.
Oh wait, is it? Is dude just farts in public.
Can I just get a small chip, please? Anything else? Just salt on it, please.
Oh, man.
Anything else? Just a fork as well.
Oh, I didn't remember. This is what I want to show you.
Oh, right.
No, scroll up again. The cover and no effects.
Yeah, nice. His voice suits it.
It's good. They sound so good.
Yeah.
And they're like doing so good. So like, oh man, I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
And the
Let's
fact
get 'em
that
on
people
podcast.
keep on that alive. Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely. Let's try to get them on.
Yeah. And maybe also the fart guy.
The fart guy.
Being able to fart on cue.
Yeah.
I reckon that it ranks higher than being able to burp on cue.
Oh, yeah. But the fact that I've seen another one of that, I just honestly, that I wanted you to just get to the next thing. That's a good little detour.
I was like, is this really like worth showing me at this point?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was something I want to show you. Just a dude farting in public. But I've seen other videos that he did, and they're just so funny because the person will be like, okay, anything else? And he's like, he gives you like the force behind it. Like he's trying. And obviously you have to catch air in. So in the gaps, he's trying to catch air in and fart more.
What do you mean catch air in?
I would assume
deliberately-
aren't the people who like who so don't the people who fart on command like catch air then fart it out?
With their butt cheeks?
Yeah, you have to let air in to let it out. It's like when people burp, they like breathe in and then burp. I don't think they just have an endless supply of gas. They somehow, I don't know. If you can fart on command, please write in and let us know if I'm just making that up. I just don't think they have an endless reserve of gas because you'd have to be pretty sick to be at that level.
Well, that's why I guess it's a special skill. But like, how do you deliberately like catch air with your ass?
Now you're saying it. I don't know. That is very strange.
I think that needs to be fact checked.
Yeah. Greg. He's not paying attention. He never is. What are we paying for?
Useless.
We're meant to be a serious podcast. You know, people say, Google this, find it for me. You know
serious
what I mean?
videos about people farting. Now, this is important content.
Yeah. He just looks at you like he has no idea why he's even meant to be here. But dude, I have to say, I almost didn't talk about this, but I think I should. I messed up the other day. You know me, right? And you've known me for a very long time.
Apparently.
What do you mean?
Oh, no, I have. Yeah.
Like apparently you know me or apparently you've known me for a very long time. I genuinely don't want, it's not that I don't want to offend people because I know that people are going to get offended no matter what, but I try my best to not come off the wrong way. Let's put it that way. But if I say something and it comes out the wrong way, I hate people misinterpreting me. And then, you know, I'd like to have an opportunity to be like, no, I didn't mean it that way. Let me clarify. But that sometimes leads me into more trouble because I'll try to clarify and I'll just completely screw up.
Sure.
So I was at the movies with Kate, right?
Yeah.
Just like recently. And in the mid-distance, I saw like a girl sitting down that was like, looked a lot like one of Kate's friends.
Yeah.
So I turned to Kate, not really thinking, and go, oh, look, it's, what's her name?
Rebecca.
It's kind of close. We'll go
Marie.
Cassandra.
Okay.
Cassandra or Marie. Okay. I was like, oh, look, it looks like Cassandra Marie sitting over there, right? Cassandra Marie.
Cassandra Marie.
There we go. Now so far away.
There's nobody on the planet called Cassandra Marie.
If your name's Cassandra Marie, please write in. So I said to Kate, oh, look, she looks like Cassandra Marie sitting on that chair over there. And I realized the moment I said it, less so the moment I said it, the moment Kate looked at her to see what I meant, I realized that I was pointing to a girl who was, for lack of a better word, a bit bigger. Like she was a bit bigger of a girl.
Then
don't set me up like that.
It's a relative term.
True. She was oh yeah, Van, that's awful. She was
I think we get what you mean.
Yeah, because I'm just going to dig that hole deeper. And ironically, so meta of me to do that right on the spot. So I said to Kate, oh, that looks like your friend Cassandra Marie. And obviously my sense of humor can be quite dry at times, and I'm aware of that. And sometimes people don't really get that. So Kate looks over and looks at the girl, and I realize I'm pointing at a rather larger girl saying, that looks like your friend Cassandra Marie, who Sandra Marie has pretty openly of late been working on losing weight and trying to lose weight. So I realized, holy shit, I look like a dick. Like I'm just like, oh, look, that girl looks like your friend Cassandra Marie. And then to fix it in the moment, I said to Kate, yeah, but Cassandra Marie's not that big. And Kate turns to the girl and goes, oh my goodness, Cassandra Marie, what are you doing here? And ran over and gave her a hug. And I just went, what the f***? So in that moment, I tried to fix it, not making out that she's being said, yeah, but Cassandra's not that big. It was. Dude, that is the worst feeling when you like try to fix something and you just bury yourself.
So that was Cassandra Marie.
Yeah, it was actually who I thought it was. You
didn't realize that?
No, I was pretty far away.
You're right.
I didn't realize in the moment. And she wasn't facing me. She just kind of had the vibe of the girl. And I went, oh, she just trusted my gut and said, is it her?
How did Kate not save you though?
Because it was pretty much instant.
Yeah, right. Okay.
She didn't hear me say it. Thank goodness she didn't hear me say it.
Sure.
To say that.
Yeah.
But just Kate. And I said to Kate, I am so sorry. I did not mean to come off like that. And she's like, that's really funny that you said it that way. And I was like, she's not even like, she's looking good. Like she has lost weight. It's like, just stop. Just leave it.
All right. So, Blink-182.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think the album was called when you were younger?
I think I've always wanted to like refer to it as the self-titled album, but like I think it's technically Untitled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really weird when it's almost as weird as when we found out that Blink-182 is actually Blink-182.
Yeah.
But then they say that Australia is one of the only places that call them Blink-182.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, cool, good on us. A funny thing.
Yeah.
But why would you assume that 182? Like, why are those the two numbers that are together?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be Blink-182?
I was going to, yeah.
Which is really weird. That wouldn't be that.
Yeah.
But I always got it self-titled.
Yeah. Well, I actually think it's fitting that we do this album at this point because Mark's memoirs only come out in the last few weeks.
Yeah. I'm only halfway through it. You finished it, right?
I finished it, yeah. Listened to it in audiobook form with him narrating it.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it is. I don't know what it is about Mark Hoppus, but I feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it's like an emotion that I feel toward him. And this is really strange because I haven't really like put this thought together, but I feel so emotional about him. Like, I feel like I want to like protect him in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want him to go through harm. It's just as a person and who he is and what he's gone through. I don't know. I feel so, maybe I'm just so thankful for everything that he shaped in me, like when I was younger. But then reading the memoir, oh man, it's like when you hear about him being a little kid and going through all the stuff he went through, just that fatherly instinct, it's almost like that turns on you like, oh, I just want to protect this kid. Like he always talked about the fact that like his parents' divorce was hard. And I remember Blink being pretty open about that. I thought that might have been a bit of like teenage angst kind of. That's a theme we talk about is like our parents' divorce, and Tom had a problem with his parents' divorce. And as a kid whose parents had been divorced when I was a teenager, I was like, oh yeah, I sort of get it. But reading the book, I was like, man, he was really affected by his parents' divorce. Sure. Like he really just wants, he just wants everyone to get along. And that just makes me so sad.
I love how he talks about like that, like it shaped his personality so much that it's like he's developed that trait that he always wants to be the kind of like diplomat trying to make sure everyone's like.
And he's like, everything needs to be okay. Everything is okay, right? I can breathe, like I can relax. Like he said that even in the book. And do you remember that part where he said, that's it. That's all you need to know about me in the last two paragraphs. But if you want to read on, you can.
Yeah. But the thing is like, the thing that struck me about the book is like, he seems so normal. Like I feel like if you read say like a memoir that Tom put out, he's just a bit wackier and self-indulgent.
But he talks about Tom in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I just think Mark, like he just kind of seemed, he's obviously led like an extraordinary life, but he seems like just a normal kind of guy with normal struggles.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes it so much more compelling.
And also like makes him accessible.
Yeah.
Like, and also when he talks about Tom, how he's like, that is what I absolutely love about Tom. And what I also absolutely drives me insane about Tom. You know what I mean? Like it shows from the beginning that it is such a love-hatey kind of thing. And I was telling Kate about it in the car when we were driving to Sydney recently. And I said, I think that's awesome because to be open about that and to not just be like, oh, let's just pretend like it's in the past, let's not talk about it. But to be like, nah, like, you made me angry and like I'm upset about that, and that's healthy for us to talk about that. And when we talk about that time, not pretend. Like it was hard, but now things are good. And just that's what we can focus on, but be honest about it.
Yeah.
That's the part I'm liking. But anyway, I don't want to hear any spoilers because I'm just up to just where Travis joined. And admittedly, I haven't read in a couple of days. So I've still got a while.
Oh, man, stick at it. It's really good.
I can't wait to, I'll read a few chapters each time and we can chat about it on the episode as they go on.
The reason why I brought it up though is because, and this is not a spoiler, but like when you get up to the part that talks about the Untitled album.
They didn't Untitled. Oh,
Mark talks about the fact that he's always referred to it as the Untitled album, but Travis refers to it as the self-titled album.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't think it's all universal in terms of the way it's meant to be referred to.
That's very cool.
So it's their 5th album.
Yes.
Comes out in end of 2003.
Yes.
And I think...
Where were we at that time? Year 9. Year 9 in high school.
Year 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most anticipated album that we, up until that point, and probably since then as well, we were so keen for.
I was thinking about that. Like in our lifetime, this would be the one that we were sort of building up to the most, like following, like in the lead up to when it coming out.
Yeah.
Like,
and good on us for being young and not closed-minded, because the previous Blink album that we would have heard from that was Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Yeah. And so we've gone, and like Dude Ranch, bit roary kind of punk sound, but then Enema of the State, super polished, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, super polished pop punk, then Untitled, and all of us loved it. None of us were like, I didn't like this album. We all just connected with it so hard. Probably helped a lot. But do you remember the old Scooter videos that they used to put up online? We would like check them in. Cheetah. I found on YouTube. Someone's put all the Cheetah videos up, and it's like an hour and a half. Some of them are repeat, which is annoying, but it's also good to see them twice. Yeah. So many I hadn't seen, but I remember being in like computer class in IPT, I think it was called, and we would look up the Cheetah videos and download this tiny little, like 1 megabyte, but it would take forever to download video of like them in the studio. So we'd hear little riff ideas and couldn't wait to hear it on the album. But also, I think that probably was softened a lot because I completely forgot till I was looking up stats on this. So this was post Boxcar Racer. And that was, I forgot that. So
really?
I forgot if Boxcar was before this or after this.
Yeah, okay.
And I think so. It makes sense. If I think about it for like 2 seconds, I'd be like, well, of course it was before, because that's why they were talking about bringing Boxcar ideas into Blink-182.
Yeah.
But I also didn't know that there was so much animosity in the band at this time, because we watched the MTV album launch documentary about them recording it. And we watched that heaps in high school. And in that, they all look like they're having so much fun, even though the album was taking forever or whatever. But reading the Wikipedia page with all the compiled interviews where they're like, we were not getting along at this point.
No.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because for a band to be so experimental, you would think there's some form of like interconnected safety there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just going back to what you were saying before about how, like, the importance of this album for us in terms of us following it. Like, I think Take Off Your Pants and Jacket came out 2001. And I was a fan of Blink at that stage, but like the internet wasn't as big. And so it was like, you just didn't really follow things in the same way. So I started listening to Take Off Your Pants and Jacket not long after it came out, but I don't remember being aware of it in the lead up to it at all. So this was the first one where it's like the internet's a thing. Yeah. We're aware that it's coming. At the time, they were our favorite band.
I don't think I was even into Blink-182 when Take Off Your Pants and Jacket was released. Maybe I knew them, but I wasn't like, I remember my friend when he told me I need to stop listening to so much Cypress Hill, and he sent through like some Blink albums. He was like Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and I got both of them at the same time, even though I knew a lot of songs off Enema because I'd listened to them with friends or whatever. But I think it hit us at the perfect time, because we were like mid-teenage years when we were like stepping into the industry was shifting, the sound was shifting, it was moving more into an emo sound. Blink-182 were pioneers at whatever they were doing with this new sound, and whatever they brought out, we were ready for, because other bands we were listening to, we weren't just listening to pop punk at that point. There were bands like early Census Fail, even that kind of stuff. That was more emo, The Used. Yeah, exactly. So we were listening to stuff like that. So maybe that also softened it a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But dude, like we were so keen for it. I remember, I genuinely, clearly remember going to school being like, have you got it yet?
Yeah.
It's about the album. And you're like, yeah, I got it yesterday. Mum took me to Sanity or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I went and got it straight away too. Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Like it was so cool. And the fact that we're here 20 years later talking about it is pretty sick. But when I saw the notes that said that it divided the fan base, like we didn't have any, like we were in our little Australian bubble and everyone we spoke to loved it. So the fact, even reading now, I just assumed that everyone adopted it, but of course people wouldn't.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're saying it divided the fan base on the Wikipedia article about saying, I think that's where I got this information from. That it divided the fan base as if like half the people weren't keen and half the people were. Like, that's really interesting.
I think so. I mean, I imagine Enema would have divided their fan base in a more significant way. Because I think it was probably a more significant depart. Well, I mean, it was a pretty big step in a certain direction that probably a lot of like 90s Blink fans probably didn't like.
Yes. And there are a lot of bands that like pop punk from back then that when they talk about Blink-182, they only ever seem to talk up to Dude Ranch about being their favorite albums. Yeah. They might have thought, maybe honestly, for a few bands, they might have thought that was selling out. As Mark talks about in his book, that people thought that they were selling out by getting signed to a major label.
Oh, for sure.
They would be like, oh, they're just like the boy band of the pop punk world, like or the punk world. They're not actually underground like us.
Yeah.
But then as Mark said, we're trying to get people to hear our music. If more people can hear our music, why wouldn't we do?
Yeah.
You know? So
but I would think if you were into Blink post Enema, you'd be open to the idea of them changing stylistically in a fairly big way.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we were just so obsessed with that band that they could do whatever, and we'd.
I think the other thing is like the fact that we were so linked into like what was happening, like the production of the album and like the anticipation of the album. I think that meant that it probably didn't matter what it sounded like. We were going to love it. Whereas maybe if you were a fan, maybe a more casual fan, and you just sort of bought it, picked it up, not really knowing much about it before you listened to it, you might have been like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, well, Blink-182 was so much more than just the music too. Like they were like a culture around them. Like everyone wanted to be like Tom DeLonge. Everyone wanted the two bands around their arms. Like, and people actually got them. Like I know friends that have the Tom DeLonge bands on their arm. They got them years later too. It's like as a tribute to him almost of like how influential he was. And there was always that thing of like, oh, who do you like better, Mark or Tom? I remember people talking about that. And yeah, because I was a guitarist, I always just idolized Tom DeLonge.
Yeah.
And I still, no matter how good I got a guitar, I could never down pick like he could, like, and probably still can. But these down picks are so fast, and I just cannot do that ever. And a lot of people say that, like, wow, he's just a weapon.
Do you remember? So you taught me guitar, obviously.
Yeah.
And during one of the lessons,
I don't think people know that. I was a guitar teacher, and I taught same guitar. Yeah. It's like playing in a mirror because you're left-handed.
One of the lessons I remember this, you were teaching me First Date, and in the bridge, he does.
I asked you to go on the date. You misheard me, and I ended up teaching the song. Get out of it.
In the bridge, he does a down-picked, very fast, like down-pick.
Go ahead.
And
yeah,
and I remember like it was like the only moment I think in the history of the guitar lessons where I think you were proud of me because I was able to do it.
You were fast, weren't you? You just unlocked a memory then.
Good with the wrists.
I know what, but yeah, you did. I remember that you were, and I was like, you're a weapon at that.
Yeah,
yeah.
That was my one guitar skill.
Wow, that's crazy. You just unlocked a memory then. Wow. But do you remember we went to see them? That was the first time we saw Blink-182 ever. And it was for this tour here on the wall. That's why I've got it up.
Yeah.
We got scammed, that poster. That was meant to be a good poster I bought on eBay, and it got sent to me, and it's an A4 bit of paper that's laminated.
Glass.
Yeah, exactly. So I got scammed, but it's still on the wall. That's the poster of the tour that we went and saw. What was the date? It says Canberra, Wollongong, Melbourne, Newcastle. Thursday, 2nd of September, we went and saw them.
2004. I think.
Yeah, with special guest Sparta.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember that they were meant to come out earlier? Because it was later. And the reason it was, so it wasn't early, so it was because they were in Australia and someone tried to steal his bag or something in Perth. And this is what I remember. I could be wrong. But he tried chasing after him and he fell and broke his leg. Yeah. And he had his leg in a cast and they had to cancel the rest of the tour. Do you remember who the support band was?
I do. Brand new.
Brand new. And it was just after they did Your Favorite Weapon.
Yeah.
So we could have seen Brand New just after Your Favorite Weapon, which is one of my favorite albums ever. And that would have been incredible to see. But when they came back and re-announced it, I remember being at school, we're like, did you hear? I remember the day when it was like, did you hear that Blink's being cancelled? And I was like, no way. I remember being right near the canteen and like us talking about that.
I don't remember where I was when I heard, but I remember that was like, no, as far as traumatic high school events, that was like right up there.
It's up there with like September 11. Like, where were you when that happened?
Yeah.
Maybe not. But still, it was devastating. And we were, I remember where I was, and I was outside the canteen. Remember we used to get a hot cheese roll and two hot cheese rolls and a can of drink for $2. And it was just, dude, that was the best. Anyway, I I was like, no way, that sucks. And then Brand New, I was like, well, at least they're coming back. And then Brand New were like, oh, sorry, when the dates got reannounced, we're in Japan. I remember that. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I really want to see Brand New. So I was mad that Brand New weren't coming, but Sparta were. And I was like, who's this Sparta band?
Yeah.
Do not care, whatever. And when we went and saw them, do you remember who the other band was that played? Gyroscope.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. Dr. Doctor is such a good song.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing them live. They were great. And then Sparta came on. And I remember being in the crowd mentally almost being like, boo, get off stage. I just want to see Blink. I've been looking forward to this for years. I mean, realistically, it's probably 2 years of my teenage life, but that feels like 10 when you're a kid.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just want to see Blink so badly. And they're here in Newcastle. I can see their gear. I can see Mark's fridges. I can see Tom's amps, and Travis's kit. This is amazing. I'm so close. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
And Sparta played, and I couldn't wait for them to get off. About a month later after that, someone gave me a Sparta CD, and I fell in love with them. And I thought they were so good. And I was like, I wasted that opportunity because I've seen them twice live. Because remember, I already had tickets for the Sydney show, and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. I had tickets to Sydney, and the Newcastle show got announced, and I said, well, I've already got tickets to Sydney and I can't afford to buy tickets to Newcastle. And you bloody legend, and the other guys at school, remember you chipped in and bought it for my birthday?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it was my birthday present. And that was the first time I got to see Blink for the first time with you.
I'm a legend.
They had I've been saying that. But I had said they had said publicly, because they're on Rove and stuff. That's on YouTube still, them being interviewed. But they said they'd never play Carousel again.
Performance.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember about it.
I think that was jet lagged. Miss You.
Miss You, right. I remember Mark's hair's all real haggard and stuff. But they did, they said, not on Rove, but they were pretty public saying they're not going to play Carousel again. And at our show in Sydney, for the last show of the tour, they said, because this is the last show of Australia, we're going to do Carousel. And you were so jealous. Because I was like, I've seen Carousel live.
Because I went to a Sydney show as well with Ben. Yeah. It must have been a different Sydney show to the one you went to.
Because we all had tickets to Sydney, but when Newcastle got announced, we said, well, we can't miss it. But then again, it's almost like Tom just didn't want to be on stage in Newcastle. As soon as the song, the set finished, like, this is growing up, turn the guitar off and just walk straight off.
Yeah. Well, man, when you get up to that part in the book, you'll hear some stuff about like what was going on with him.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. Also, Newcastle's like entertainment centre is just a big shed. Like probably what is this little country town? But we filled it out. There's a lot of people there. But that was an amazing set, seeing them there and then seeing them in Sydney. Except for the fact that I caught influenza A in the mosh pit. And it was one of the sickest, probably the sickest I'd ever been at that point in my life. Probably I was sick for like 3 months with this flu bug. And there was a girl that I knew on MSN that I'd never met in real life, but it turns out that she was at that show as well. And she's like, I'm so sick from being at the Blink-182 show. And I'm like, same. I caught this influenza bug too. So someone went who was sick. It was like the COVID.
I'm still going to track him down all these years.
Someone, I'm going to find him. It's like the COVID 04. You know what I mean? Whatever it is in 19. But I must have made the whole mosh pit sick or whatever. I mean, you didn't get it, but
I was staying next to you. I didn't get sick.
You're above it. I was a bit shorter than you then. I don't think I'd grown that much.
So obviously this album, they rent a house and they basically move in for a number of months to record it.
Yes.
And it's a totally different approach to what they've taken with previous albums, where it sounds as though they basically go into the studio, they record the album in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Travis records his drums for like a day and then leaves.
Yeah, they bring some form of ideas in that people then build around and they can smash it out pretty quickly. Yeah. But this one was very much like, let's write together.
Yeah. So this was like 321 days or something like that between when it starts and when it's released. Like I'm astounded at how much latitude the label gave them. Like particularly when so they're in the house for a few months, then they get kicked out of the house, but then they go to a studio, I think it might have been LA, then they end up in San Diego. And then when they're mixing the album at the very end, they get to a point where they've got like half a dozen studios all booked out at the same time because like Travis might have been in Florida or something like that. And like Mark was in LA, Tom was in San Diego.
But they spent so much time, and this is the thing, I really think that when bands do this, it typically ends up paying off, which is when they spend so much time making sure that every song is exactly what the song needs to be. Like Enema of the State, so it's like one drum sound pretty much for the whole album, essentially. Sorry. The same with Take a Pencil Jacket, get the guitar sounds right and use them for most of the album. This was like they said, new drum kit sound, not just snare sound, which some bands do, like Under Oath did on Define the Great Line was like a new snare sound for every song. It was like new drum kit sound, new mic position sound, new room sound.
Different cables.
Yeah, cables, guitars, like cabinets, bass, everything they need, instruments even. And every song sounds like it's on from a different album, but it still sounds cohesive. Like that's what they've done, which is really cool. But that's me talking too much about the album itself.
But just before we leave that, talking about the album generally, in the book, Mark tells this story about when they finally finished mixing it. Like after all that time, they have like, I think they spend the last day mixing, filling this.
Yeah. And
they're down to the wire. Like they've got to get that mix so it can get shipped out to get printed or whatever. And then they finish it. It must have been late. And then late at night, they get in their car. It's Tom and Mark, and they're driving back to the hotel where they were staying. And Mark's talking about how he's just like amped, like best moment of his like career. Like this is their pinnacle. They've just completed their like their masterpiece album. And he said that like Tom was just staring off into the distance and was just like, I hope to God I never have to go through that ever again. And I was just like, my impression had always been that this was like a Tom-driven album.
I agree.
And particularly after, Tom went off and did Boxcar during that break after Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Yeah.
And obviously wanted to move into like a darker space.
Yep.
Wanted to like grow musically. Didn't want to just be like the kid that plays pop punk forever.
Or be remembered as the kid who played pop punk forever. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
he was very reaching, not reaching sounds like he couldn't grab it, but like he was very much reaching for something bigger at that point.
Yeah.
Which is what he did with Angels and Airwaves as well, trying something brand new.
But the fact that,
for him.
And so I always saw this album as, I thought this was him kind of driving it, and maybe Mark was just like, yeah, I'll come along for the ride, like this is cool, but like Mark probably maybe more inclined to just write the more like a Take Off Your Pants and Jacket style record.
I agree.
But the fact they get to the end and like Mark was the one that was like so happy with what they'd come up with, and Tom was like, I never want to go through that ever again.
Yeah. Do you think that might have been a bit of like, why did you take those songs to Boxcar when could have, like, because Tom said for Boxcar, and we can talk about this when we do the Boxcar album eventually, but he said that he just needed a drummer and asked Travis and didn't know how much it would affect Mark doing so. But maybe there's a part of Mark being like, dude, why did you not just bring those songs to us and we could have made something work with them? So maybe when Tom did that with some of these songs for the self-titled album or the Untitled album, what do you want to say? He's like, we did it. As Blink, we did it. And we've created a masterpiece. And that's what he felt. So maybe there is that bit of like, see, this is what it could have been, but Tom would have been like, creatively, that was exhausting. Like,
and it would have been exhausting, like the fact that it took that long.
Yeah.
I can imagine, like maybe it was just by the end of it, he was over it. Even though when it first started the process, he was like,
especially when you have labels. I can't imagine labels breathing down your neck like that, like how hard that is. But you said that they mixed Feeling This. That's a good little segue into the first song. But do you remember whose mix they went with? They had a couple of people to choose from. Who mixed it?
I want to say they went with Jerry. Big man.
The man.
Yeah.
Man himself. They went with Jerry Finn's mix of Feeling This, which is crazy to me to think about on an album. I just keep thinking that usually it's one person. That, like from running a studio, I didn't do one song for an artist. You do their whole album or whole EP or whatever. A lot of times it is the whole album doing that. But sometimes like, we're going to get one person to mix this track, another person, like this person mixed tracks, and this one, and it's like, but they're all cohesive.
Yeah.
Like they don't sound like the signature sound of a certain artist that just sounds totally different. And they have so much going on in the songs. Like Feeling This has so much going on in it.
Yeah.
All right. So Feeling This, what do you got? Flame. Dude, 100%. I'm giving it a flame. That's a double flame.
Flaming.
That was not a flame high five.
What do you mean?
Well, that was, you pulled back when I did it.
Oh man.
You gotta go hard.
Critiquing my flames.
I should put in like effects, you know what I mean? Double flame. Yeah.
I can't imagine that's the last time that's going to happen.
No, but a double flame, that means that this song has like resonated with us both deeply.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like this is so much beyond a banger for me, man. Like Feeling This. I mean, I've just taken it off you. Sorry. I'm just so ready to chat about it. But like, it's such a good opener, but it's like so captures that era perfectly. Like they said that, I didn't know this till I saw the notes on Genius, that Mark and Tom went to separate rooms and wrote about two different songs, but it's two different sides of love.
Yes.
And they combined it and it works because Tom's talking about the lustful romance side and Mark's talking about the heartfelt romance side.
Yeah.
And oh man, it was genuinely that like drum opener to that track, which could start with like, I don't know, it could have started any other way. That was, and there's another note that I'll talk about later. That was when friends of mine who were always like, we don't listen to Blink-182. Like they're too like pop punk. At church when I played up there at youth or whatever, there were some really good drummers and they were like, not really Blink though. Like I listen to more like musical bands. And then with this album, when they heard it, they're like, that's a cool in the intro. Does he have a double kick? And we're like, because that was when double kick was kind of like becoming trendier. And we're like, no, he does a single kick. And they're like, I've got to practice that. And that's when they started taking Blink more seriously because they heard in Travis's drumming how creative he was.
Well, that intro has become so iconic now as well. Like with the drums and the guitar riff as well. But it's hard to describe how, like the feeling of when like you first heard that after having been a Blink fan and like you thought you knew what Blink was, like you heard all these other Blink stuff and then that comes in. It was such a like, it really is a perfect way to start the album because it just like totally transports you into this totally different sound.
Did you say you're feeling this?
I am feeling.
Does that mean that you gotta begin right now? Yeah, anyway. Well, I guess that's where it comes from. We should probably But there's so much going on in this song that I didn't know about, and I'm still like figuring out years later. Like I saw a YouTube video a while back of a guy talking about breaking down feeling this and all the parts in it. And one of the things is that in the first chorus, they pan the bass left and right, which is a really strange mixed decision. Like that is usually you want the bass in the center or whatever, but they've panned it. And one of the basses is a 6-string, the Fender 6, whatever it was called. It was like the jazz bass or whatever. I can't remember what it was called. Fender 6, I think it was called. Anyway, so he's playing that and playing chords, but that's a 6-string bass with on the other ear him just doing the typical Mark Hoppus intro to online songs, like that heavy bass kind of tone thing. Really cool. But that is just like 2 basses in a chorus is a creative decision. Like that shows that they've had time and they've figured it out. Like so good.
Do you know that bit at the very start of the chorus where it's like the boom?
Yeah, the 808 stuff.
Do you remember like it was very hard to find a set of speakers that could accommodate that without it like something going
True. Oh, so good. But you were saying about the drum intro being iconic, and I agree. If you notice with Blink-182 shows, when they start I Miss You, it usually takes for the before everyone starts cheering. I recognize it. But with Feeling This, they know it straight away. Yeah. And it's funny because I Miss You might be a more well-known song for Blink-182, probably, like in the general public.
Yep,
Yet people don't get that till like the guitars come in, usually the general audience. But with Feeling This, people know it straight away. Interesting. But like all the stuff they do, like the swells before the second verse, like where Tom's doing the down, it goes before the verse. It's like the production ideas are just so good. It's almost like if they only had a few months to, even if they had written these songs and took it to a studio and did it in 2 months or whatever, you would have none of these extra details. No. And I just think that they've done such a good job with it.
The Mark's like almost rap that he does in the verse. Not in the verse, right? In the bridge.
Yeah.
Which is just like.
But do you know what's crazy about that? Is that he does the part where he says, I love that bridge, by the way. It's one of my favorite bridges by Blink ever. Yeah. And the part where he gets into the part about the look to the past and remember to smile, that is just so cool where it starts coming with the 4 chords under it. And it's so of the era and it just captures the sound. And it's just, I just love that sound. I thought he said, I look to the past and remember her smile, and maybe tonight I can breathe for a while. No. Maybe tonight I can dream for a while. I'm not in the seat. I think I'm falling asleep. But then all that means is that I'll always be dreaming of you. But then I found out that that's actually a contentious lyric that people don't really know what he's saying. And Mark clarified that says, I'm not in this scene. I think I'm falling asleep. But then all that means is that I'll always be dreaming of you. Yeah. I'm not in this scene. But I was like, I thought it was like him driving.
I always thought
and being
seat
like,
as well.
Yeah, I'm not in the seat. I think I'm falling asleep. But I'm gonna like crash this car, but I'll always be dreaming of you. I thought it was a lyric like that. But no, it's not.
Yeah, right.
But to celebrate this, because it's the first song of the album, right?
Yeah.
Of Blink-182, of an Untitled album, that I want to say inspired us a lot too, not just in our own songwriting processes, but when I recorded your band in high school, it inspired, like when they record, if Blink can record in a house, then I don't feel so bad about recording out of a house either. So that's why we were experimenting with like vocals in the shower and all that stuff. And we found that EP recently and listened through. Maybe we could do that for an episode, like our first song, you know what I mean? And show what we did. But like I recorded my first song that we released properly in a studio, like a recording studio, but we did like your one at my house. And so we experimented so much with that I think yours came out better because we had so many details. We spent so much time on it like Blink-182 did. It was just so good like that. But to celebrate that, because I'm feeling it, I got you a little present.
Oh,
Please stacked it. Shut your eyes and put your hands out.
okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
I got you
Don't-
a signed copy of the album. I didn't say who signed it, but it's a signed copy. You owe me for that. But
That's great.
you can check the lyrics if it's in there, because I know you love your booklets. In there, it might say the thing about like what the lyrics actually are. But signed copy. I read it on the cover, so if you actually want to keep it and swap it out, you just swap the front out. There we go. So good.
Do you reckon I could sell that and try and convince someone that that's actually someone for the band that signed it?
But what a good album. I remember just looking at this over and over again. Like, what a cool photo. And in the documentary, when they're like, I think that's the one, like with the photo.
Yep.
Like, and I'm like, yeah, it is. That's the one on the back. It's so good. Just how iconic the Blink face was. It was so clever that they did something people could draw, and people did draw that on their school books. And
it's become their logo for 20 years since then?
Yeah, because they nailed it.
Yeah.
Apparently it was like, I saw someone, I think Travis, talk about it, and he said something like, oh, he liked a certain style of logo, so he wanted arrows in it, and like they kind of pulled from like a whole different bunch of stuff. But I'll spin this around so that actually you can see it properly.
I'm trying to get the answer to your lyric question.
But all the vocal parts, like apparently that part at the end of Feeling This with the harmonies at the end was a not a mistake, but it was like a happy accident in the studio where they just pulled the faders down and just heard all that. And they're like, that's amazing. We should do that and kind of add to it more and keep it in the end. And I remember that was one of the things that some friends of mine who weren't huge Blink-182 fans but really liked the album, they said that they loved that bit. And do you remember like when I played it like EXO days at schools where there was like that put on by the youth group, and we play it like a live show at lunch and just do a bunch of covers. We did Feeling This. And I remember Billy was like, we want to do he wanted to do the vocal parts, like with everyone doing the cross vocal part at the end. Right. And we did it. It was me, Billy, and my cousin Ben, because he was singing as well. Yeah. And we did Feeling This. I remember it was on that tiny little thing at the top of the quadrangle that we never played on again, but it was like that tiny little stage that we were just so cramped. But we played and it was awesome. It's like 1,000 kids there all like rocking out playing Blink-182 super loud. I mean, for me, I was like, I don't have to go to class. I get to play a live show and play Blink songs. But we're doing all the cross harmony parts at the end and we nailed it. And we're like, yeah, we did such a good job. But that was the show that Footy used to do sound for. And he came and set everything up and all the mics were hot on stage. So like they were ready to go because it was essentially like as soon as the bell goes, we're on stage and we're playing to draw everyone out to the stage for the show. And that's what we did for all the EXO days we played. We played so many. We got bashed at a couple. Anyway, Ben got on the drum kit and was like on the kit and was like tapping the snare and it was going again through the quadrangle, like echoing because it was right in front of the canteen and then it would echo through. And Footy is looking at him like, don't, man, don't. Like, I'm not near the desk. Like, it's loud. He's like, they're on. He's like, just being a little jerk, like tapping it. And he just goes, hey, Footy, do you reckon I have time for a poo? And it went, do you reckon I have time for a poo? Poo, 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 poo. It's cool. And I was like, referencing that Leno and Woodley joke, like in front of the whole school and just before the bell went. So all these kids in class just here, have time for a poo, poo, poo. It's cool.
And you know what's cool?
Yep. Well, that's it. That's where we pulled the inspiration for the colors for the podcast. This is one of the albums we connected on so much as when we were younger. I was like, it needs to inform something. So that's what, that suits the set well.
And this became, while we're on Feeling This.
Yeah. But you're done.
It became like the opening track for their set list for years as well.
Yeah. You can't really put this song anywhere else in the set, can you? I know they do sometimes, but it just feels like it should be at the start.
Yeah. Although I think sometimes they do start with Feeling.
Imagine being Blink and having two of the greatest album openers in the genre of all time.
I want to ask you that. What do you think is a better album opener?
Dumpweed.
Well, Dumpweed, Anthem Part 2 or Feeling This?
I would go, they're all like top tier. This is like picking between like Larry Bird, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. Like these are like top tier songs, but like top tier basketball players. It's like, how do you separate them? Yeah. I'd say Anthem Part 3. Anthem Part 2. Feeling This, Dumpweed. I just think Dumpweed is so defining. Like, so's Feeling This. Feeling This is so good. Don't get me wrong. It's by a hair, but Dumpweed to me is just, when that's on, it's Blink.
I think they're all really effective at like bringing you into the sound of that album and what that album's about. They are very good at that. I love Anthem Part 2. Like now that they start their sets with Anthem Part 2, like when I first saw them doing that, I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice to start a set. Now I'm like, whoa, that is awesome.
Because if they started with Anthem Part 3, everyone would go, well, that's expected. It's a new album. It's a new sound. But for them to go, no, we're going back to Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, Blink. That is like making a statement. But what would you rank them?
I would probably go, I'm going to say Feeling This as number 1.
Over Dumpweed?
Yeah, then maybe Dumpweed, then Anthem Part 2.
I think Feeling This is a better song.
Yeah.
Right? But I think Dumpweed has a stronger opener part. Like the riff is just, to me. And also when it came out, it was so bright, so like thick and big. Yeah. No one expected that after. Like, it's such a big sound. And when that song hits live, it hits. Like, Dumpweed is so good.
For sure.
And Feeling This is really good too, but Dumpweed to me just punches harder. So I think as a knockout punch in the first song, that's why.
For sure.
So Obvious.
I gave this a crown.
I gave this a flame. So this is 2 flames in a row.
Flame, start for
Genuinely,
you.
Obvious could be my favorite Blink song of all time. I don't know what it is about it or whatever, but it just pumps me up like no other song does. And
is it something about the like the theme of the song?
It's the riff.
It's the riff.
The sound of the song and just the angst in it and stuff, and how big the chorus is when it comes in. Everything about it is sick, but that first riff, it's so unlike anything Blink really have done before that and anything since. So chordy, and it's like so down-tuned, which is like, it's in a really weird tuning. It's like drop C or drop B or whatever, Blink-182, you just never really expect. But I love this song so much. I think it genuinely, in my opinion, this is not like my objective rating, but if I had my favorite songs of all time that I think are the greatest songs ever written, Obvious would be up there, like in like the top 10 for sure. I just love this song so much. I don't really know why.
Yeah. I love the riff that he plays in the chorus, where he's basically just playing like single string.
Yeah. There's also triangle in the chorus. We've talked about that in high school, about all the weird percussion you can sometimes hear. Because times like these, ding, ding, ding.
There's something like, I don't know whether it's an organ or something. Something hits on the very first beat of the chorus.
Stuff like that is such good creative decisions. But my favorite thing ever in this song is the flange effect before it goes into the chorus. So, because that was so Tom DeLonge of like 2003, was strumming a chord with that airplane sound flange going over and over the top. And they put that on the recording. He's like, saw you again. I think you used me again. Forgive no time to restore what we have and hold on. At that point, that's exactly when they've timed the flange to go times like these.
And then it hits like a bomb. Like,
if you haven't heard it, and if anyone out there hasn't listened for it, listen for it. And dude, it is the best. It makes that's what makes that chorus exactly hit like a bomb. And it's like track 2 on this album of like Blink-182 sound a bit different. That is such a punch in the face for people who expected like other Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Oh, for sure. It's so angry.
It's very
like the lyrics are bitter.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. I think everything in the song is speaking the same vision. And that's what I love about it. Nothing's disconnected. The guitar sounds as angry and bitter and poignant and sad and frustrated and like, I'm repeating myself with angry again, but as the vocals do, and the same with the drums, and Travis gets it, and the snare that they've picked for that sound is so barky. It's just like blap, 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 and it's just so angry. Very, very cool. But I also love how the song doesn't follow an expected structure. So like it doesn't like go to a bridge, then come back to a chorus again the same way. It goes to that Tom fast riff and then the big swell and everyone's in again. And then at the end where it comes back, it doesn't come in with times like these. It's obvious, unless it's an overtrack.
I was going to say that comes in at the end of the outro.
Yeah, but it's like ad-libs. Yeah, a backing track.
It's a backing,
which I think is such a cool creative decision. But the finishing with the I saw you again and again, there's some room to move on. How do we fix this if we never had vision? Which is almost like a little bit of like, I'm not as angry anymore. I've thought about it. And and now I'm coming with a bit more of a level head. I'm like, we just weren't right or whatever. And I think that's why it's really cool. The sound changes in the song. So it kind of takes you on that little journey.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cool. Nice. But the song just has so much energy. Like
for sure.
That just...
It's quick too.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I don't like is the live version when they were playing around that time. It was way too fast.
Yes.
The best part about it is that it's slow and like punchy and it needs to have that same tempo as the album.
Yeah.
Well, if not,
so I mean, it's a short song. Like it's
yeah. I know what you mean. But when they play it live, it just reminded me that it can be. They play it. It's just too quick.
They did that with a few of their songs live around this this era. Do you remember they used to do a really fast version of Rock Show?
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
I think now they no longer have the energy or the stamina to be able to,
I think they play to a click now, probably.
Yeah, probably.
And I don't think they did back in the day. So they just kind of just went into it straight away. Or maybe they did, but it was like, might have just been for counting in. Or they just had a really fast click.
Yeah.
But now it's just, everything's pretty standard speed.
Yeah. Like album speed.
Yeah. Because they know that if they do it at that speed, they play less songs. You know, to get through your whole set in 5 minutes.
I miss you.
Thanks. Miss you too. What'd you get this one? I'll go first for this one.
Yeah,
do you know what's funny? And I think that you would think that this is absolutely awful for me to say. If you had asked me like a couple of years ago what I'd rate I Miss You, I'm not even kidding. When I first did this rating system and went through and rated, I think I rated I Miss You a 5. I think I rated it a great, not a banger. And that would offend you, I'm sure, and then probably a lot of other people too. But I just found that the song was so overplayed that I didn't give it a chance.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I've heard this song so much and like everyone's talking about it so much. And to me, I didn't like when people grabbed onto songs, that those were the songs that people grabbed onto about Blink. I Miss You, All the Small Things, stuff like that, where I go, this isn't really representative of what the band stands for or is about. So like, I'd prefer you like other songs, but I kind of got over it because it was so overplayed. But listening back now, I'm giving it a crown.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Interesting you say that though, because I was thinking, I think it's the song that suffered the most out of all of the Blink songs from being overplayed. Probably more so than All the Small Things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's memed now.
Yeah. And I think I loved this song when it came out. And I remember hearing the videos or seeing the videos that were being released when they were still recording the album. And so you'd see little clips from this song. And I remember thinking, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yes.
I think if I'd rated it like not long after the album came out, I probably would have given it a flame.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's the one in the studio where they are playing through the chorus on an acoustic bass and acoustic guitar sounds so pretty.
Yeah.
And that's the part that really got me when I was listening to it this time was just how beautiful is that chord progression in the chorus.
It's a beautiful song.
Oh, the whole song is beautiful. But that when he first goes after Mark's verse and he just I miss you with the chords under it. I was like, this is magic. And you know where Tom says in the documentary, like, I think we've just created something big or whatever, because they realized how good it was.
Yeah.
Mark said that it was because Travis fixed the chorus.
Yeah.
Do you know what the old chorus was meant to be?
I remember something in the documentary about, they play a little clip of it, I think.
I think so. And then Mark on his, which I highly recommend, if anyone listening is like interested, go look up on YouTube Mark reacting to the MTV album launch documentary of Blink-182 recording the Untitled album in 2003. Oh, sorry, earlier, but it came out in 2003. And check out all the stuff he has to say, like as side points to it. But one of the things he says is that the old chorus used to be, I miss you, I miss you, miss you. And that was the whole chorus, not don't waste your time on me. And he said that, I think it was Travis was the one where we need to fix that chorus and turned it into, he's like, that chord progression you're playing is really pretty. Let's make that the chorus. And that's when they went, oh my goodness, we've done something big here. Yeah.
The use of the way, so he sings I miss you throughout the intro.
Yeah.
And then during the bit between the first verse and the second verse. And then how it comes in again in the chorus in the same spot.
Yeah.
But with Tom's vocals. It's almost like it foreshadows it. Like it just, it's perfect.
Dude, it's so well done. And just all the instrumentation in that and like the acoustic bass and the fact that it's a drum loop, yet the song never sounds stale or boring with the one drum sound. It sounds like it moves because everything else moves around it. Usually drums are the thing that lead the crescendos and for a song to crescendo. But that chorus progression is so special.
But it's interesting when you're talking about Obvious, and it's the same, I think, with quite a few of the songs on the album, but they capture a mood.
Yes.
Where every part of the song reflects that. It all pulls it together and it just captures that mood so well. I think like this song, like it does have like a haunting type feel.
Absolutely. I think the film clip they chose for this is so perfect because it totally nails the vibe they're going for with the song. And that's the other note I have here is that the lyrics are so different from anything Blink had done prior. Like it is so dark and haunting and like what's the word? Like Just exactly what they did in the film clip. Visually, it's lyrically what they did in the film clip of that like 1920s style, like horror kind of type of video.
But beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They were so clever with this song. It's really funny. Tom is always being like laughs at himself so much, right? And always has heaps of fun, like joking around about stuff or whatever. But I had never heard Tom sing the second verse, his verse to I Miss You with such clarity as he did at Coachella when they first came back and did that.
Yeah,
and they stopped and everyone went, "Where are you?" Because that's the meme. But Tom is singing it like, "Where are you?" Like so clean. And I've never heard him sing so cleanly. For real, look it up. At the Coachella show, I was like, it must have gotten to him with everyone doing the whole like,
he's self-conscious about it.
He probably is self-conscious about it. I did like this song way more because when it came on, I was like, there was that little bias in me that was like, ugh. I was like, no, don't let that affect you. Listen to this and actually pay attention.
And you want to try and transport yourself back to what it was like when you listened to it when it first came out.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of foreshadowing. There was another song that was like that too that I didn't like when I was younger and it has totally come around on me.
Interesting.
But we'll get to that.
So, violence.
Okay, so for violence, I've given this a crown.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I said great.
It's really interesting because violence to me, a couple of months ago when I was listening to it, I went, when the time comes that we do this for the book club, this is a flame for me. I just was so into that song and it just hit me so emotionally, but it didn't when I listened to it again. I think I was just really into it that day when I was listening to it. But I love this song. I think it's really, really, really good. But this is the song that I said earlier. There was another song that made my drummer friends take Travis, Blink seriously, is the drum roll at the start of this. I still get confused about where they come in because it's such a strange roll that comes in at such a strange time. But that was the one where they all went, oh my goodness, we have to learn that, like kind of roll. But I loved this song when I was younger, but reading the lyrics now and knowing that it's about, a girl in a bar where everyone's obsessed with her and it's the fact that it's like violence, the fact that how she makes guys feel and seeing it through the eyes of someone who's drunk and looking at a girl and just lusting over her essentially. I was like, get it. That's really cool. Like thematically, that's a great song. And it made me realize that every song on this album is like a thematic scene in a movie or something. Like it's not the same movie really. It's just kind of like its own movie, but it's so artistic.
Yeah. It's cool how you can take something like a really simple concept, like a song about a girl in a bar or whatever.
Yeah.
And turn it into something, like build it out that way.
Yeah. The only thing, one thing I'll say is really cool is, do you know just before the verse, how there's the white noise part?
Yeah.
Do you know how that came around?
Yes.
About Mark slapping his bass out of anger and they went, that's cool. And they went, we'll make it a bit more intentional and did it with white noise. So it was a creative frustration, which is really cool. But one of the things I don't like, that once I tell you, dude, you've just spent the first like however long of your life not knowing this. And once you know it, I'm sorry. Because it's going to change you.
Yeah, right.
The gates are wrong on the toms. And I don't know how it got through to the production. But when Travis hits toms, do you know how a gate works with toms? Maybe someone listening doesn't, so I'll quickly explain it. Essentially, like the tom mics on a drum kit get tons of cymbal bleed through them all the time. If you just have the tom mics on, you'll just hear over the top of the toms all the time, or just over the recording when the toms are being hit. So you use a gate, which essentially is just like anything less than a certain volume, cut to zero. So what you want to do is gate the toms. So essentially when people hit the toms, you just hear doom of the tom and then gates immediately. So you don't hear any more cymbals. But sometimes you hear because you hear the cymbal coming in over the top of the tom, if that makes sense. The gates are open a little bit too long on this song. So when you hear the toms, you hear them go doom, 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 of the toms bleeding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And that's not a creative decision. It's just slow gates. And that to me, from working in audio, now I've heard it. I mean, you'll hear it now and just be like, I can hear that. Yeah. And it's just like, why did that? Surely they heard that and went, we want to keep it that way. But I don't understand why, because it's like leaving mess in a song.
Yeah.
Like it's not intentionally, that's not a good sound of a cymbal bleeding through a tom mic.
Once it's done though, you have to re-record it, right? Like it's not, is it something you can fix digitally?
Fix the mixing. Yeah. You've just got to tighten your gates up on your mixing program. Like it's just a mix error. That's not an error because they would have heard it a million times and go, we're cool with that. Or maybe no one just paid any attention to it. But yeah, tom gates, when they do get like that, they get really harsh and trashy. And yeah, they just sound a bit trashy.
Yeah, right. I don't love the spoken vocals in the verses. It's never really done it for me. Yeah.
What's interesting is they bring in the electronic-y drums in this, which kind of almost foreshadow which we'll also get to later, there's a lot of foreshadowing, almost like breaking people into getting ready for the full-on interlude when it comes in because it's so different.
Yeah.
So that electronic drums get you used to,
Yeah.
we're adding stuff in here that isn't typical Blink-182.
Yeah,
but
right.
I just think Violence has such a good chorus. Like, it's such a good chorus.
And I think I gave it a great rather than a crown because it is an awesome song, but I don't feel as much of a connection to it as some of the other songs. Like I feel like I don't think it has as much of an emotional pull as certainly not Obvious.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of a similar song in a way to Obvious.
True. Yeah. It's got that kind of angsty kind of sound to it. But the part to me that makes it a crown for me is the bridge, because that's where emotionally it hits me really well. What I love about it creatively is that melodically they bring the chorus, they sing the chorus, but bring the line down, like in the scale, essentially, like down to a lower note. And then it's in a different part of the register, but it still sounds like the chorus. And then when the chorus comes back in, they go back up to it. And it's just, whoa, it's so huge. In your face again and big. It's just so good. But it's one of my favorite bridges that Blink have done ever, just with the soft, picky guitar that Tom does, where he just knows how to fill a gap with like high notes. Tom's really good at that, like in a bridge or whatever, or just finding a way to be pretty over pretty vocals.
Yeah.
Like even if it's like the What's My Age Again bridge, you know what I mean? Or like the Violence bridge or other riffs as well. There's so many that he's done it for.
And it can be simple as well. Like he's got a way of doing something that can be simple but really, really effective.
Oh, dude. Genuinely, when I was younger, I used to think that Tom DeLonge was like, just had to go with it. And that's what I thought about Mark as well. And like, that's the thing with his memoir, is that I was surprised to read how much he was into music and was such a fan of like songwriting and like other people's albums and stuff. I'm not saying that I didn't expect them to like music. That sounds silly, but just stuff like I didn't expect them to care as deeply as they do and love music as deeply as they obviously do. And so Mark is, and now I know that, I'm like, maybe that was a bit of a self-deprecating facade that they wore. It was like, we just have fun on stage. We don't really know what we're doing. I believed that. And I was like, oh, maybe they only know how to play their own songs. They might know, and I think I know how to play this song, and they could throw it together. But I didn't actually think that they were musicians. And as I've gotten older, I've realized, you know what? They are so good. Like Tom DeLonge is such a good songwriter. Like he is,
for sure.
And same with Mark. Like he knows how to write a pop song, but genuinely, like, creatively, it's almost like you feel like they're just there to have fun, and the label's going to be the one that like, or the producers, come here boys, we're going to round you up and make sense of this. But genuinely, they are so good at what they do that everything they do is great, because creatively, they're like some of the best writers that the genre's ever seen. And like the ideas that they have without anyone touching them first is already sparks of genius. Like that's why they deserve the fame. You sometimes just think to yourself, oh, maybe it's because they you know, they're likable and funny, and that's why people like them. But they are really good.
No. I think that helped them.
Of course,
it helped people to connect to them that then become lifelong fans. But I totally agree. Like as far as songwriting is concerned, like they're both brilliant at it for this genre.
Yeah,
like it might not be the most complex style of music, but they know exactly how to do it.
All right, so we got the interlude for Stockholm Syndrome. Now, do you know what's weird?
Did you do this as a different track?
Yes, because that's what it is in my streaming service.
It is for me too, but
it's not on the album.
No.
And do you know what's really crazy? Is that just the fact that they're two different things and not connected as one song for me moves it literally like outside of a category and into another category. It's right on the for my average, spoiler alert, I'm not going to say what it is, but it moves it from a specific category into a one under it. But if we did it as the album, this is what's controversial. Do we do it as the album, which is when this is actually included at the end of Violence, and it would be in a different category. It'd be in a higher category than what it actually came out as, because this, as you can only rate context in our system as 1, 3, or 5, it changes where it's positioned.
Interesting.
But it wasn't intended to be that way. They've changed that somewhere, maybe so that you can just put Violence on repeat if you're all putting it on streaming. But the actual album doesn't do it that way.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to have an asterisk.
In a way, I like that they've done it that way, because I remember when I used to listen to the album, I wanted to listen to the intro leading into Stockholm Syndrome, because it does kind of like set you up for the song.
Yes.
But in order to do that, you've got to like go to Stockholm Syndrome, go back to find,
rewind back.
Like, so I like that they've split it that
CD
way.
player.
But for this purpose, I've done it the old school way. So I haven't even rated the interlude.
Oh, well, I mean, it's no surprise you'd give it a max score then, a 5, right? Because you said it sets it up perfectly, right? if you were to rate it. Yeah. Oh, well, that's what I've given it. I've given it a great.
Yeah, cool.
I said I never loved this when I was younger, but I respect it now. When I was younger, I was always like, it's getting in the road of the music. I just want to get to the next song or something like that. But I didn't hate it when I was younger, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't love it. And now I'm like, I get it and I can see creatively what they were doing. And I think that it's really well done.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly.
And how the piano part comes in the song as well.
Oh,
like
yeah,
later
true.
on.
Get you set up for it. But when I was younger, I remember being like, hearing someone say, that's Mark's grandma doing the reading that out. And they got it confused. It's Mark's grandma's letter. Oh, sorry, that she received from her grandfather. But it's actually voiced by
Joanna Wally, I think.
I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah.
Thanks. She's a professional voice actress, and that's why it sounds so good. But when we saw them live, they played this before Stockholm Syndrome over the speakers, and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was also like, to the song. Like, I want to hear the song.
Imagine if they played it, but they did a different song afterwards.
Just like, this is just for the interlude fans. But yes, there's not much to talk about here other than the fact that it's incredibly deep and there's so many moments in this album where you just go, wow, I need to take Blink-182 seriously. Even if you're a Blink-182 fan or not, these are the moments where you go, oh, this is more than just a couple dudes joking about like dick jokes and stuff.
Yeah. And the fact, as you say, the fact that it comes from a letter that was written to Mark's grandmother, like it gives it a more significance than if it was just like they wrote something that sounded cool.
Does he reference that in the book?
I think he mentions it, but doesn't go into any particular detail.
Okay. Yeah, right. Okay, fair enough. Interesting. All right, so into Stockholm Syndrome.
Flame.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I give this a crown.
But okay.
That's awesome. I love hearing songs and I want to hear more of like other people's too. Like I want to hear what everyone considers to be Flames.
I've just always loved this.
Yeah, right.
I love how aggressive it is, how emotional it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely like, I think of all the songs on the album, this is the one that's the most, not experimental, but it's like, in terms of like structurally and like and rhythmically, like it's more experimental than a lot of other Blink songs for sure.
I've got a note about that here, but I will say that something that I found really interesting was that Mark in the Cheetah videos keeps saying to the camera across different videos and stuff like that, oh, I've got this idea for a song about like a guy's in another, like there's a girl in another room, but a guy's drowning in the room that he's in and he's just drowning or whatever. And then he's like, I'm writing this lyrics about I'm drowning in this, like you're over there doing that, but I'm just drowning in this room. And he references that theme a couple of times. And I'm like, wow, he really had that creatively of that idea of like that he wanted to put in and he used it in Stockholm Syndrome. And I'm like, that's a long-standing creative idea that he's had this vision of like, or a visual more specifically of what he wanted to project through his lyrics, which is really cool. I wouldn't have given this song a crown back in the day, though. I didn't love this song back in the day.
Oh, I've always loved it.
I think because it was so removed from... And then again, I loved Obvious and songs like that and Violence, but this one to
hit me more than Obvious, I think.
Yeah. But I think I liked Obvious because it still has like a pop element to it. It's real catchy. Yeah. This is a bit more darker but then again, this is closer to like an emo sound than like an emo band.
Yeah, it is.
So, and that was something I resonated with less. I still liked, don't get me wrong, but I probably would have rated this at lowest a good, not probably a great back in the day when I was in high school. But now I'm like, I can see what they do. This is genius.
Yeah. But it's only got, I think, the one repeating section. I think it's got like a chorus that repeats, but otherwise it just kind of
It's like progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've said here, my note is I think this might be the most ambitious song of the album yet.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Up to that point, it's so ambitious. It's a complete departure from everything typical about Blink. The other songs still have like Blink-esque melodies, even if they sound different, but I just didn't get that from this song. It sounds so far removed.
Yeah.
Like other songs are like, oh, it's a different guitar sound than you used to and different this and that, but you still can kind of grab on here. This was like, this is new. Everything was new.
For sure.
There was no familiarity to grab onto.
Yeah. And I love the contrast in the vocals as well. Like, so you've got Tom's like super aggressive vocals that he comes in with.
Oh, yes.
Then you get to Mark's verse where he's like singing, it's like, it's calmer, it's tighter.
Yeah.
And then you get the contrast from that to when Mark starts doing his yelling vocals, which he doesn't do that much on this album at all.
Yeah. But that's when he does the drowning in the next room line. So he was like really wanting to push that idea, which is really cool. You're cold with disappointment while I'm drowning in the next room. But then you're the last contagious victim of this plague between us. That sounds like a metal lyric. That's so dark and big and heavy like that. But it's Blink-182. Like, it shows
I feel like they
creatively
land it though. Like, it doesn't come off cliched. I don't think.
No, not at all. No, genuinely. None of this. And you know what? That's the thing. When bands try to be ambitious, it can backfire sometimes and come off a bit too pretentious and cheesy. And that's not at all what this comes off as. But one of the best things ever that I thought was such a magical moment, and to me, if I could flame a section, it would be this section would be a flame for me, is the lick, unlike any other lick that's ever recorded before. The new.
Yeah.
The guitar tone on that is perfect.
Yeah.
Like the way they've experimented to find a way to just like completely cut through the mix, and it's so pretty over the top of the lower drivey chords. And it's just, again, Tom filling space with beautiful guitar lines. Like,
it's a massive sound as well. Don't you reckon?
It's the whole song is just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like an earthquake of a song.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's destructive, it sounds like. And then it gets like apocalyptic of the muty bit after after the how would you say, chorus-ish thing? Yeah, it's like kind of all over the place with structure, but it's like in a good way. But it's just I don't know. It's so ambitious, but it's almost like they're like, forget what we think about where a song should go. Let's just do what it needs.
Yeah.
And they just made the song so good.
Yeah.
You lick like no other lick. Do you remember though that after he said that, a lick like no other lick, blah, 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 he's like, that thing's going to break off and crack off and break in. He's like, no. And then he runs Mark says on his reaction to it, he's like, yeah, and Tom actually like went outside and ran over it. And then he plays the video and he's like, oh, they're going to show it. Like, one of the funniest things Tom did after that was when he, after he runs over the guitar, which I was so sad about because that guitar with like fucking Queen on it was so iconic because it's the What Went Wrong guitar. Like, it's so good. And he runs over it and destroys it. And then he's doing the whistling while doing the broom stuff. Oh, that's so funny. So Tom DeLonge just runs over his guitar and then just like, that's just like cleaning it up. All right.
So down.
What do you got? Oh, am I going first? I've given it a crown.
Crown?
Yeah.
Okay. I said great.
I would have given this song a flame back in the day. I loved this song. And I remember it was probably the song on the album that I craved listening to the most. Because, I mean, in high school, it's really weird because it wasn't like I actively went, oh, I love that song. It's just emotionally, it like really resonated with me. But yeah, so essentially, I remember being in English class, I'm pretty sure. And like we didn't have like access to music like everyone does now, or like we do now, kids do now. So we had MP3 players and stuff, but I remember just being like, I didn't have it at school or whatever. I had an MP3 player and someone stole it out of my bag, and I'm still pissed about that because I had a whole bunch of like my band's old demos on it that I don't think I have access to anymore. But someone stole it when I was in class one time. I had to go through my bag to get it, but I didn't have my MP3 player at school. Maybe it might have been after it got stolen.
Are they on your list with the person that gave you Influenza A at the
around that era? I just keep adding to it like a little notebook. But all of them are just question marks because I don't know who did it. But I remember just sitting there just being like, I just cannot wait to get home to listen to Down.
Yeah.
Like I just loved that song so much. I thought it was so pretty. But that's a fond, like an actual like clear high school memory for me, like very fond memory of sitting in class being like, I cannot wait for this school day to be over because I'm going to go home and just put Down on. Like I just want to listen to that song.
You're a cool kid.
What do you mean?
Like that's what you were looking forward to.
Listening to music.
They were just like that song in particular.
Oh, Down. Yeah. I don't know what you're saying. Hope it's a compliment. I really think, and this is such a like a specific thing, but it's also on like a recording level. I think that this might be one of the best vocal chains I've ever heard on any song ever. Like Tom's voice in the verses is so clear, but also has a little bit of saturation to it. And it just sounds so perfect. I do not expect anyone who doesn't know what that is to know what that sounds like. You would just listen and go, yeah, Tom sounds good in the verse.
Yeah.
But after hearing a lot of vocal chains and different setups or whatever, I'm like, how did they record that vocal?
Yeah, right.
Because it's so clear and so
Do you know how
nice.
they recorded it?
No, I don't. I've seen a couple of mics they use, but I don't know what the chains were. Because if you know anything we've looked up about Jerry Finn, he was like particular down to the cables he used. He'd swap things out for different songs. So they probably changed it per song and it was probably recorded in a weird setup. But it's such a beautiful vocal recording.
Yeah.
But I just love that how there's a theme on this album that one person will sing something, the other person will just come in with like a single line thing. And they did it with Down, like Mark does Down in the chorus.
Issue.
He says, it gets me so. But he says down for the most part. I miss you as well. And like in Go, like Tom yelling Go, like single lines like that are really powerful on this album. Like having one person just saying one thing.
Yeah. Cool how it starts with he's just holding that chord that he pretty much holds right through until the chorus.
Yeah.
I think it's just like the bass line that moves. He just continues holding that one chord.
But it changes the shape of the chord because of the way the bass moves under it. It's really cool. But I love in the verse how the bass doesn't come in till like halfway through the verse. It just starts with Tom and guitar, I think. Oh no, with the reverse piano and Travis playing drums.
Yeah.
But then the bass comes in.
Yeah.
That could be at the very start of the verse, but they don't. They leave it to halfway through, and I think that's really cool.
It is another song where it's like it's super effective at creating a mood.
Yes, it has that might be the reason it resonated with me so much, is because the mood it set was exactly what I was in need of in high school.
And I read something about
very moody.
Tom wrote it about like two people who are sitting in a car when it's raining.
Yeah,
and you listen to it and like, that's what that sounds like.
Yeah,
like it just you can picture that so easily when you listen to the song.
Yeah, it's so simple because you're like, well, of course, the drops of rain they fall all over. Like it starts with that. It's but I'd never really put it that way.
I always thought though that it was an interesting choice for a single. And I was... I don't...
a single.
Yeah. Like I've never loved it. I think it's a great song, but I've never loved it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was obviously wasn't as big as Miss You and Feeling This.
Yes, of course. But what would you have picked for a third single if it wasn't that?
I don't know. I mean, Always is an obvious one.
Always. They did, how many singles they did? 4 then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they were going to do...
because you can't be subjective and say like, oh, I love Obvious, so Obvious should be, or Stockholm Syndrome. Like,
but I don't think either of those are singles.
No, I don't think so.
Like I think, I don't know that I would replace Down with another song because I think...
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's good.
They were going to do all of this as a single.
Yeah, I saw that. Interesting.
Yeah.
I love in this song how the bridge and outro was almost written perfectly to set up the Fallen Interlude.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away from the song. It's not like going, oh, they should have wrapped it up a different way or whatever. It's perfect. And then the drums come in and it just really starts. That's what I was saying earlier, where they start to really foreshadow and prepare you for the Fallen Interlude.
Yeah.
But the percussion in the outro of Down, and also the piano in the outro is so pretty.
Yeah.
Like that's just beautiful. And then just into
and you don't know where it's going as well. Like you're wondering.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
And then you don't know, and you could never know if you hadn't heard the album before. Like it's genuinely the most impressive transition, I think. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
But,
because, I mean, we'll get to it in a minute, but the interlude is pretty out there as far as Blink is concerned. Like,
I'm very surprised that was on the album.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like they probably all just went, I don't know, we'll get to it in a second, but they probably all just went, let's be creative. And let's let everyone be creative.
But they landed because they build into it so well, and like it doesn't feel out of place or tacked on. Like
but it could.
Perfectly.
Because if you're just skipping through the tracks, it feels like, what's that?
Yeah,
but when you hear it from Down, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So on that note, for Fallen Interlude,
I said great.
Great?
Yeah.
I said great too. I think this is a great interlude.
Yeah.
I love how it transitions from Down.
Yeah.
It's so unexpected, but this album really showed off all of their creativity and creative visions.
Yeah.
And I think in other songs you hear Mark and you hear Tom's ideas, but this is like all Travis.
Yeah.
You can hear Travis in their other stuff, but this is Travis leading a song.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny that the other guys didn't be like, all right, we'll write to this. They just went, your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the thing with interludes is like, you've got to ask yourself, like, what's the point? Like, why is it there?
Yes.
And oftentimes it is completely unnecessary.
Yes.
And it's tacked on, it's out of context.
Maybe just to add another track to the album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Whereas this one, as you say, like if you listen to the songs in isolation, you'd be thinking, why is this here?
Yeah.
But it actually fits really, really well, flows really well, and serves a really nice purpose. So like bringing the album down, and then it like explodes down, comes after Down. But it explodes into Go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And
yeah.
you just, that is where you just have to be strapped into the Blink-182 roller coaster of like, where is this taking me?
Yeah.
I'm just with it for the journey. But this song has always reminded me of, I didn't expect you to get this reference, but And Together Now by Limp Bizkit off Significant Other, the song that they do with Method Man. It has the same like type of synthy line in the background. And this has always been like, wow, like Blink did their own like And Together Now, because I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan when I was younger. But I was just, the only other note I have here is that I love that the band let Travis do this.
Yeah.
Not saying that they'd stop him or anything, but this could have been an idea of like, oh, we had this idea for like this drum and like electronic track that never made it or whatever, but they committed to it and did it. And you're right. Where they put it is perfect. Obviously, it's coming out of Down where it's completely set up. But Go being the next track, I mean, let's get into that. But this song ties so much of the album together.
For sure.
I think they've nailed it from that.
Speaking of Go, what'd you give it?
I gave this song a flame.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that's ridiculous. I loved this song when I was, dude, and I'm telling you why. So I loved this song when I was younger. What'd you give it, by the way?
I gave it a great.
Okay, great. Okay, because I loved this song when I was in high school. Some high ratings on this album for me.
Yeah.
That's 3 flames on an album.
Yeah.
So I love this song in high school. I really did. Because I think when I first heard this album, this was the song, apart from Feeling This is the song that I went, that's familiar, that's comfortable, I love that. Because that's the Blink-182 I know. And then I used that to tiptoe out and stepstone out to, or like take small steps out to the rest of the album until I fell in love with all of it because it was quite different. I'm not saying I didn't like it, I did, but Go was where I was like, where's the old Blink sound? Well, this is the closest thing to that.
Yeah.
I think this is the first pop punk song of the album. Of the whole album so far.
Might be the only.
Yeah, probably it is,
really?
I think. But 9 songs in before someone who likes Take Off Pants and Jacket to hear pop punk, and it's still not like Take Off Pants and Jacket. It still sounds like Obvious, still sounds like Violent, still sounds like Stockholm Syndrome. It's got that kind of sound to it. But this was an unexpected flame.
Yeah.
I was tossing up between a Crown and a Flame, but I was like, I have to go Flame on this. And it's because of Mark's memoir. Like, I loved it already, but then knowing how important that was and how brutal that was of what he went through, it resonated with me so much because I've been through a broken family, not to that extent, of course, thank goodness, but there's been things that have happened in my life that I'm like similar to that, where I've felt in similar ways. And hearing that, I could just hear a new thing in his voice that I hadn't heard before of the emotion in him singing and being so hurt by what happened with his family. And I'm like, it just moved me emotionally. And I just kept rewinding it. And that the way it hits the minor in the chorus and then goes to the minor progression, but it doesn't sound sad. And then him just being like, I don't want to know. And someone just being like, go, go, go.
Yeah.
It's just, I was like, this is such a good song. Like, I don't know. I didn't expect to be moved that way. Feeling This, yes, Obvious, definitely. But this one, I did not expect to be give a flame to.
I think you're right about the memoir kind of giving it another level though. Like hearing that story. I always assumed it was about his dad.
Same. I did. Yeah. And when I read the story, I was like, where's the part about his dad being abusive? Because he seems to have a good relationship with his dad.
Yeah.
And then it comes in that it's one of his boyfriends.
Yeah.
And I went, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's so heavy. And for him and the saddest part about it is that he talks about, and I don't want to give spoilers away if anyone wants to read it, but he talks about earlier in the book being outside his parents' door, hearing them argue and how much that affected him. And then there's a reference to a specific Blink-182 song there, which is amazing. Yeah. But with Go, straight away, if you know Go, that's the scene that's being set up. Like I didn't get took for him to say one specific thing, previous story about what happened for me to go, oh, that's a song. Spoilers. But with this one, I just knew from the beginning. But the fact that he was listening to them behind the door going, not again. I don't want to have to feel like I'm like, have that experience again. And it was way worse. Like he witnessed domestic violence of his mother, who he loves, with a man that he doesn't really know or really like, treat her like that. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, dude, like how heavy for you. And you poor thing. That's what I think I feel about Mark Hoppus. It's like, you just mean well and you want the best for everyone, but why did you have to go through that, And then now hearing Go in a new light, you're like, that's not just a song about something that happened. It's something that changed him. It's like a therapy song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very good. And it's so simple, like with chords. He could have turned it into a Stockholm Syndrome, big epic thing, but he didn't. It's just chords and punk rock.
Short, fast, and angry. And
exactly.
It just fits perfectly.
And
what he's feeling.
It makes sense that, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but it makes sense that he wrote it that way about when he was young because it has a less mature sound. It still sounds really mature, don't get me wrong, because it's definitely not just typical pop punk. But it's almost like where Tom does the My First Punk song on Boxcar Racer. It's like sounds young and punk.
Yes.
This sounds young because it's through the young eyes of Mark Hoppus. If it was like Stockholm Syndrome and it was really mature and progressive, it would be like his now perspective on it. But this sounds like little 8-year-old Mark's mind about what he went through.
And the lyrics do as well.
Yeah.
It's like, he talks about like getting to the car.
Yeah, Mum, like get in the car, let's drive away. And she said, I'm sorry, Mark, there's nowhere to stay.
And it's that sense of like he's powerless here. He doesn't have any control over the situation. He can't do anything.
That next line is the one that gave me goosebumps then thinking about it because it's exactly right. Gave up all her hope and went back inside, hit a broken heart and let the engine die. So funny in the story where he says that the guy came out and profusely apologized and she said fine because they just realized they didn't have the money to buy new stuff so they had to go back. Because if they left, they'd have nothing and they'd have no money to buy anything because they were using like a sideways turned like cable spool thing or something for a dining room table or something like whatever. And then he apologized, but then the people on the base saw her bruises and then helped her move out, which is really cool that they got out of that. I'd hate to hear that he was like, their mum stayed with him for another year or something.
Yeah. Do you remember, I think this was the first song I heard off the album because it was released, might have been you. Someone gave me like a CD that had a couple of like demo tracks that had somehow been released. One of them was like an early version of Feeling This when it was called Action.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And then, and Go was the other one on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how they came to be released. They might
have been through the website or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. And I guess you can understand why they might have released Go early because it's something that, other fans would be able to connect with. It's accessible. Exactly. Yeah.
Damn, that's cool. I forgot about that. It was called Action.
Yeah.
I can't remember where Mark said the get ready for action was from. It's Captain America or something? I don't know. Why did I say that? I'm not even sure if that's true. But
it's not Captain America, but it's something. It might be a TV show or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember him in the documentary on MTV going, get ready for action. And then he gets on the drums later. I know that exact beat because I've always thought about that bit. Alrighty. Asthenia.
This is Crown.
Do you know what's really funny? I give this a crown too. So, blind with that. I just realized Asthenia.
Asthenia.
No, well, Luke Dixon used to really like Asthenia, the song, and he got it confused with the term aposthia, and he wrote that on his bass, on the headstock of his bass. If you see old photos, there's a white tag over where it said Ashton because it was a cheap bass, and he wrote aposthia, and he found out it was the condition of being born without a foreskin. So every time I see Asthenia, I think of aposthia because he thought it was aposthia. He's like, thought it was like a Blink joke of like, because he found out about this thing. He's like, oh, Blink had called a song aposthia. That's so funny. But again, another song with incredible vision.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like about a song about a guy in space, subtly foreshadows Tom's like Angels and Airwaves, like to the stars kind of journey. But I didn't know that the transcript that we've got here of the intro thing, which I've never actually read what it is. I've always heard it, but I had never seen it and read it. That's amazing. That's like actual NASA transmissions.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it really was. I knew it was obviously like space chat, but I didn't know like astronaut.
Space chat.
Spacechat.com.
From some group chat from a bunch of astronauts.
But I didn't know it was like literal NASA stuff. Because that seems like, is that legal? Obviously it is, but like.
They must have got
permission and clearance. Sure. But like, genuinely, that's just incredible.
And like, so the song's about someone who's in space contemplating return to the Earth.
Yeah.
And like, it just, obviously the transmission set it up really well, but there's like the spaciness of like when the music comes in with that riff that he plays, which is just like so beautiful. I think the guitar work on this song is like pretty close to my favorite on the whole album.
I have to agree. And where specifically are you talking about?
A few different areas.
Can we say, where's your biggest one? Let's say on 3. See if we're at the same one.
Okay.
You ready? 1, 2, 3. Bridge. Oh, absolutely.
That was a weak.
That was a weak high five. You're giving weak high fives today.
Sloppy.
I think it's one of the best bridges ever.
Yeah.
Like of any band, but for Blink-182, definitely. The call and response between the two things.
Yeah.
And the part that gets me is he does the and then the the 4 little stabby things or 3 stabby things they do there is amazing. And that's Tom DeLonge, the palmidi with that's just Tom going to town.
Yeah.
Like doing what he does best.
Mind you, I think, do you reckon he had some help rhythmically? Like,
yeah, well, you get this in the documentary where Travis is tapping on his leg.
Yeah, like I don't think he wrote the rhythm.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely helped for that. But I think that he had the idea of the palmidi and the riffs potentially.
Yeah.
But it's very Tom.
But the guitar work, the whole song, like that riff he's playing at the start where the full band comes in, the little like chord progression thing he's playing in like the pre-chorus, like the pre-chorus chords are awesome.
Yeah.
And then the chorus riff as well.
Yeah. It's just, that to me almost feels like, because it's tapping into Tom's like space kind of thinking or whatever that he used for Angels and Airwaves, he had so much to draw from, and it's just so much creativity on that song. It doesn't feel like it feels like Tom's leading that song so hard, it's just him singing through voice and singing through the guitar. Like, it's just another really aligned song. I loved this song back in the day. So do you remember what the old lyrics were from the documentary of them filming this?
Like 16 and I want to be different, something.
16, I want to be different. I'm holding this inside from you. And then the chorus was, should have got caught.
Yeah.
It's different.
That was a miss.
And that's like, yeah, I know, right? And it's the, it's like a teenage like love song. But then he was like, obviously this vision of like a creative vision, of being like an astronaut in space. And then it all just clicked. Like, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And that probably comes back to them having more time to just like, let's flesh this out a little more.
Imagine what it would
reflect
have been.
on it. Yeah.
I mean, and this is the thing. That's what I feel like, as we've talked about this off one more time. If they had given that album the same care as this, that would have been so much better than it was. Yeah. But I feel like some of those songs are their first draft ideas. Like,
but it's not,
that's mean. I don't mean that. I mean, like,
I do think that is, a bit harsh.
It's like they've had a couple, like they haven't had the time to really sit with it.
Yeah.
They've written good, like great songs. I still give a lot of them crowns if I was to rate them. But I think that some could even be flames.
Yeah. But on that album launch documentary, you see a clip where they're playing one of their songs in the early stages of the recording where they're kind of like demoing. And then Mark in his reaction video is talking about how he's talking about that particular song which got scratched. And it was a song about like, they were writing about a high school teacher that like...
Oh, so they never
believed in them.
Yeah,
it wouldn't amount to anything. And it's like, that was a good call to leave that off. Like that wouldn't have fit in this album, like in terms of like thematically. And
it's so mature. And all the concepts are so, not just mature, but higher level than all the other songs. To go for like a, you said I wouldn't amount to anything and look at me now kind of thing. I think it was called like Punk Rock Kid.
Yeah.
I stole one of the Blink-182 riffs. I got to be honest, I'm coming clean here. I don't,
wow. Truth comes out.
Creatively, I don't steal ones. There's one on the documentary where they did the, it's like it's a riff that they did.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, that's amazing. I love that riff. I can't wait to hear that song. And when the album came out, it wasn't on the album. And I went, well, yoink. And I used it. It's one of the
so did like 600 other people like
that
documentary.
Like we all think that we made the riff. Yeah. But I mean, admittedly, it's not that identifiable. It's just a chord progression. But I like the idea of it. Haven't done that very often. I don't creatively steal, but I feel like I just borrowed because, as you said, other people probably have done that too. But Asthenia is like, has always been a really, really big song. Has always been, on that note.
Yeah.
Always.
I gave it a banger.
Crown for me too.
Crown.
Yep. I gave that a crown. I didn't know that the music video, do you remember who was in the music video?
Sophie Monk.
Sophie Monk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Australian.
And she hasn't been heard from since. Actually, no, I think that's...
she's on ads in my TikTok feed,
Yeah.
but also I watched her season of the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. She's so cool, man. Like, she's so likable and fun. She's just so bogan.
Yeah, right.
Like, she's just like, wants to
like
hang
leans
out.
into it.
Yeah, just wants to hang out at home with her like pink fluffy Ugg boots or whatever. She's just a real person and she's really funny. But she's very self-aware and very funny like that too. But I couldn't believe that she was in a Blink-182 video.
Yeah.
And I was
I
like,
think they filmed it in Australia.
oh yeah? And I was like, oh, that's just so cool. Like, good on her. But also I felt like a bit of like Australian pride, like Aussie pride. Good on you, Sophie Monk, being with Blink-182. But I didn't know till I read this that the music video is telling the story of 3 different guys dating the same girl. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a cool little visual effect of a love story with a girl.
Yeah.
But it's telling, it's like when a girl, plays you with other guys essentially, but it's being with different Blink guys. Very cool.
The bass intro, it gets me every time.
Yeah, and
like it.
Didn't Mark say that he went and bought that bass specifically for Always, and it's like an 80s synth bass or something like that they just used for this song?
And didn't he, something about the amp that he used for it as well?
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure what it was specifically, but like it was, they went and got something particularly for this song.
Yeah, right, okay. But it's a specific synth bass. That was in the Cheetah videos. And he talked about going to Guitar Center, which is really wild to me to think about guys at that level who just go to their local guitar shop and be like, what do I want to record this album with? Which makes sense. But you just think that because it's so, to me, that it's so like outside of my like they're so high up and so like elevated that they'd have everything flown in or like sent to them or whatever. It's not like we're just going to go down and see what we can find and see what we can be creative with. I love all the Travisness in this song, like all the cool, catchy little like rim tap clicks and the grabbing the cymbal catches, and then like in the verses, it's just you can tell Travis really like feels this song and like is just going at it the whole time. It's like, in the so creative.
The parts between the verses as well, like before they actually, after the first verse. After the first chorus, or the second verse.
And the drum sounds are so almost dead. Like there's no room sound to them. Less room sound to them than on other songs where they have like really big open room sounds. And so even in the bridge where Tom's just doing that fadey, like slidey down kind of octave riff, he's the drum sounds going through that is so good. It reminds me a bit of like Anthem Part 2 in the verses where he's got utilizing essentially the full kit. Like very cool. I love in this song also something that really caught my attention that I thought was really just I didn't expect to love so much was Mark's backing vocals in the chorus. Like they're so underrated. Like I actually saw an AI version or something, or maybe it was just like a voice only clip of Always. And someone was like, did you put those backing vocals in or whatever? And they're like, no, they're on the album. People are like, I've never heard Mark's backing vocals before.
Yeah, right.
And just listening to them, they just make the song.
Yeah.
He has such a good voice, even though like, it's one of those things that no one likes the sound of their own voice. And Mark said he doesn't like recording, jokes about it. It's how bad of a singer you are when you hear yourself back. But he has such a like rounded, nice voice that isn't cutting, that it's a perfect backing vocal voice.
It also perfectly complements Tom's voice because his voice is like sharper, has more attack and aggression to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if with the new album, like Always might be their version of Blink Wave, like Blink Wave on the new album. Yeah. That's like they're trying to write like a Blink Wave, it's like an 80s kind of thing again. But
doesn't
Always
land as well as this one.
No, this one to me, I think if I was to show someone the album who hadn't heard any of the new Blink-182 and only heard Enema and Take Off Pants and Jacket, I might go to Always first.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is it's so catchy and it's so Blink. Doesn't sound too different, but it is quite creative. But the chorus is great. It's definitely a single. That's a radio song, for sure.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. We're getting toward the then again, there's a couple more songs, but we're getting toward the end.
Yeah.
Easy Target.
I gave this great.
I was going to give this a great, but I think it hit me differently than I expected. I gave it a crown. Yeah. I knew this. It said here that the Easy Target was based on a story from a friend who had been revealed to be Jerry Finn.
Yes.
I remember them talking about that somewhere along the line that was about Jerry Finn. Awful. And he had to kind of go through being bullied like that. But essentially, it's such a switch up from Always. So poppy and happy to this hard-hitting, like punched in the face kind of sound. All the percussion layering is really good. I remember hearing this in high school and just being like, this is such a heavy song. And even like Luke in my band, like he loved all the pop punk Blink-182 stuff. I wouldn't think that he would have loved this album like he did, but this was one of the songs he grabbed onto the most.
Interesting. Did you hear how Travis recorded the drums? Like each
all separately.
Yeah. That was so weird.
Yeah, and all really interesting percussion parts. He's got that stacker thing that has the kind of thing.
Like I can hear that in that first bit, but like I think it sounds like he did that literally the entire way through the song.
Yeah, there's so many different parts. Always he's like, I just really like it. I just want to hear more attack from the drums.
Yeah.
Do you remember that in the documentary?
Yeah.
I've watched it so many times. I said this song is very much in the Stockholm Syndrome category of Blink sound.
Yeah,
it's got that dark kind of like, like pits, like the pits kind of sound. Like it sounds like a mud pit. Like it's real kind of muddy sounding in a good way.
It's angry as well.
Very
so many of the songs are angry.
Yeah, good point. Actually,
yeah.
It's an emotional album. It's like every song is an emotion. Just depends what emotion it is, and a lot of them are very varied. What?
Isn't any album?
Yeah, but like, if you let me finish my point, previous albums of Blink-182, those albums, the spectrum of emotions was much narrower.
Yeah.
This one here is like, it's very, and everyone goes very deep.
Yeah.
Feel bad about that now?
I do,
in
actually.
My face.
Good point. All of this.
Well, I was going to say just about Easy Target before we move on. Part of the reason I gave it a crown was because I never loved all of this when I was a kid. I would skip that song all the time.
Okay.
I just wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect to like it that much on this listen through as well. when I was young, I didn't like this. So I didn't really like anything really. Not that I don't remind me of it at all, but I didn't really care for much of it at all. So with Easy Target, when it has the riff at the end, I didn't really care. But this time when I was listening, I was like, what a riff, man. That and then when they get into it again, like that is just Tom to me. If I imagine Tom DeLonge, it's him just playing with those slidey riffs of like on stage and playing super fast. And yeah, so to me, I was like, wow, this is an amazing outro section. And that's what made me go, this is a crown for me.
Yeah,
I would have given it a great otherwise, but I was like, that is so perfectly done. And I just think that is such an amazing transition, and it's slowing right down and just sitting into it is just amazing.
Before we leave Easy Target, do you remember when we saw them live and like around that era, they used to play that song second. So like they went feeling this straight into Easy Target. And like
I do remember that.
There was like a transition where Travis was hitting the kick drum.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
That like came out of nowhere. Like I would not have expected that would be the second song from the set.
There must have just been like, that's a hard-hitting song and we need to just hit people hard.
I mean, it's got so much energy.
Oh, it does. What an amazing song. But then into all of this, what'd you give this one?
I said great.
Same. And I didn't expect to. I think this is the first time that I've ever actually listened to the song and switched off all of my subjectivity and just went, that's wrong, because I listened to it subjectively. But switched off all my preconceived notions about the song or whatever and went, I'm just going to listen to it properly and rate it properly. And I went, I liked that way more than I thought I would.
Yeah. I also wasn't a massive fan of it back when the album came out.
Yeah.
I probably skipped it sometimes.
I just would never expect that Blink-182, if they were going to do a collaboration, that it would be with The Cure or something like that. So to me, I was like, I don't know The Cure. I never really listened to them. So I didn't have that much of like an interest in, I want to check out what Robert Smith's going to do.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, it's just a guy taking away from Blink-182 on a song that doesn't really sound like Blink-182.
Yeah. I think I appreciate it so much more now though.
Yeah. I think I'm being a bit older and I guess, but
also like that transition from, you were saying it before, like that guitar riff that he does in the outro to Easy Target. It's crazy how it's like the one riff can be like so heavy in that song. And then they slow it down and it's played more sort of acoustically.
Yeah.
And it has a totally different complexion.
Yeah. And the drum kit sound they use too is like, sounds like a drum kit with no deadening on it whatsoever. So it's so echoey and it sounds kind of like cheap almost, but in a good way. But it's like intentionally cheap. It's like someone's like practice kit or something, and it just adds so much to it.
But what a cool idea to take the riff that ends one song, keep it going into the next song, but totally change the tone and feel of it.
I've not seen any other bands really do that.
Yeah.
Like there's probably other instances of it, but like it's a really good creative idea. And I am surprised that more people haven't been like, oh, I should give that a go, you know?
Yeah.
What I liked about it was when I read that Blink-182 weren't sure if Robert Smith wanted to work with them because they were a bit juvenile and that's how they saw themselves, as their jocular music, they said. And he said, nobody knows what kind of songs you are going to write in the future and nobody knows the full potential of any band. I really like the music you sent me. Like, that's a really cool response from someone who you look up to going,
and it was his
now
hero.
knowing that Mark loved The Cure. Yeah, exactly.
Which I didn't realize that like back when the album came out, but it was his hero, like the reason why he started playing bass.
And it said that there was a song almost had a music video. It was just said it was nearly a single. And M. Night Shyamalan was going to be the director for it, which is really interesting. I kind of want to see what that would have turned out as.
Yeah. He talks about that in the book.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I can't wait to get to that.
Also in the book, and I won't spoil it, but he tells some funny Robert Smith stories about when he came and played with them in London.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I can't wait.
So good. Yeah.
I love this part here where it says, this song fading in with the melody of Easy Target describes the man's inability to move on and get over the girl once he realizes he's been completely used by her. It shows that even upon learning who your crush truly is and how they think of you, you're still not going to want to move on as you keep that perfect image fresh in your mind. And I'm like, I've never thought of it that way. Yeah. And that probably was part of the reason that I was like, wow, I've never thought of the song this way. I get it. It's like, it's the next chapter of, because it has in the chorus, the use me Holly, and in the previous song, they're talking about Holly. I'm like, is it just referencing Holly being a girl? I just, maybe I was too young and stupid to figure it out.
But that, like, different perspectives, like Easy Target's about like being angry towards what she's doing, and now it's kind of like, but I actually can't get over her.
Yeah. I love all the additional instrumentation in this, and the instrumental bridge is beautiful. Like the way that they do that section. It's about 2/3 of the way through, 3/4 of the way through the song. That's typically where, but it was really, really, really good.
In case you need a map.
Well, it's just because the song's so progressive. I don't even know if it's a bridge, but it's like, it's just this so pretty, the guitar lines and stuff, and then finishing with just the drums in the outro and stuff is so good. Do you know what I thought when I was listening to it? This sounds Deja Entendu-ish. Has that kind of sound to it, like Deja Entendu by Brand New, that album. But I thought all of this was so much better than I thought I would rate it, because I was always like, skip it. It's a good song, don't get me wrong. I probably would have rated it good, but I would just be like, it's just not Blink. Let me get back to what Here's Your Letter or whatever the next song is.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed.
I remember like the emo kids loved it.
Yeah.
And I think it was a little bit of a like, I'm too good for Blink, but I like that song.
Do you know what? That probably came into also why I wasn't a huge fan of the song, because I was like, you're going to be like, I'm just going to dabble in and pick and choose. And it was always those kids who were like, I didn't listen to that music. I listen to older bands, and I'm so much more like, I didn't listen to modern music. I like actual proper music, and it's like, come on, it just comes off as pretentious in my opinion. But
I love the Tom and Mark singing the chorus together, where they're basically just singing.
Do they? I was the whole time going, Mark loves him, but where's Mark's vocals on this?
They're both singing the chorus.
They're singing both. I thought that might have been Robert Smith and Tom.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Mark and Tom. Well, that's how I heard it.
Well, it might be Mark. I would be very surprised if Mark didn't want to sing on the song that.
But what I liked about it is it's like them both just singing the melody together, whereas the rest of the album, like, you don't really hear that as much. It's usually like a call and response thing, like what we were saying before, where it's like, harmonies, or it's one of them doing like one line that comes in at some point during the chorus.
Yeah.
Hearing them sing it together, like their voices sound so good together.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just because Robert Smith's voice to me, and it's not bad, don't get me wrong, he's really, really, really good, but it was a different sound to what I was used to hearing with Mark and Tom's voice. So to me, it sounded really contrasty.
Yeah.
And it still does. I'm not saying that that's changed, but now I get why it works that way, and it is really good for that reason. But there was a little part of me when I was younger being like, should I check out The Cure? Maybe I would like them. And I think I listened to a couple of songs and was like, I can't force myself to like them just because Blink do. Like, good for them. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wasn't a huge fan. But now I'm like, no, that's a really, really good creative decision, really good for them. And now knowing how much Mark loved The Cure, and he grew up watching their music videos, idolizing them, like they, to that extent, so to speak, he is just, good on him for getting this. I'm so proud of my boy. All right, so Here's Your Letter.
I gave it a good.
I gave this a great. We're like, I'm like one above you for a lot of these.
Yeah.
I do agree that this is a step down from the other songs on the album. Mark did say that it's a song from which I wrote the verses and Tom wrote the choruses, essentially. Tom the choruses, and which are from two different songs. And he said, I don't know, it really worked about the sounds working together. And he said the lyrics are about a letter to someone you're writing to in order to tell him or her it's over and there's no way it can work anymore. But now knowing that Tom wrote the chorus, it sounds so Boxcar Racer. That that chord progression and the way it goes, I'm like, that to me sounds like All Systems Go, like that type of the riff in that. Yeah. It's quite similar. So I think knowing that is good. And did you know, in the documentary, there's a shot of Tom sitting down playing a riff that ended up being Up All Night on Neighborhoods. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So he's had that riff from all the way back then.
Yeah. I like it. I really like the song. It's an awesome song. It's a great Mark song. Like, there's not a lot of songs on this album where Mark really gets to like do his thing other than Go. Like, a lot of the songs kind of like Tom doesn't dominate, but like,
I know what you mean. It does sound more Tom influenced than Mark overall.
Yeah. Whereas this is a really good Mark song. I just think so my overall take on this album is that it should have ended with all of this.
Okay.
And I think Here's Your Letter should have been like a B-side released with one of the singles.
Yep.
Like, I think it's a really good song, but it to me feels a little bit more like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket era Blink. Like, it reminds me a little bit of like Shut Up, one of those songs.
Don't
like,
say that, because I love Shut Up.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Maybe the fact that you would say that. One might say Shut Up about that. No, it's the fact
you can shut up.
Well, this is the thing. I would rate Shut Up a Flame, probably.
A Flame?
Yeah, I love that song. This is one of our biggest disagreements. I love that song so much.
Well,
you were so offended. How dare you, sir?
I'm not saying it's a bad song. I just think to put it as a flame, is is
Can't help what I feel, man.
well, that's the point.
But here's your letter. You know what? You just realized with you saying this about where the album could have ended. Why, when they were so strapped for time and they're like trying to churn songs out, did they do a 15 bloody song album?
Yes. So
like they could have done a 12.
There's a clip in the documentary, I think you might have mentioned it before, where Tom's talking to someone. He's like, we're going to do this, this, and this. And then Travis wants to record 2 more songs from scratch. It's like, why? Why did they do that?
Well, Travis Scott,
I don't know
he
what
was producing
those songs
the new
were.
album. Yeah, but he was producing the new album, and that's a bloody 17-song album or whatever. So maybe Travis is like long albums.
And we don't know what those songs were either. Like these 2 songs could have been songs they had from day one.
True.
But it's not a bad song. I just think it's a little out of context. I think the album would have been tighter without it. Having said that, I love the bridge. Like when Mark's singing that, like he belts out that I'm talking to the ceiling line.
That's exactly what I've got in my note here. Yeah, I love that bridge.
Yeah.
And I love the I could read the whole section. I was going to be like, there's one line I like in particular, but looking at it, I like it all.
Yeah.
It's such a good bridge. Very, very, very cool. And the only other note I have for this song is that Tom's palm muted guitars are just so sick on this album. Like whenever he brings in palm muted guitars, it's just so tasteful. And it's not to like, you know, when you write a song and you're like, oh, I'll just put palm muted guitars in the verse because I was like, maybe I should. This is like so tasteful and everything he does is just, perfect, man. And they all come out sounding so good. All the amps don't. I remember there was footage of them like really just strumming it and being like, I think that's it. I think we've found the tone. So when they've done the palm muting, I think what adds to that a lot is really dialing in the guitar tones for the palm mutes rather than just palm muting on an already set up amp. That might sound a bit boomier or bassier. Like they're so tight and punchy because they've made the tone punchy. They've probably put that much effort in, which is super, super cool.
Yeah, right.
All right, so last song, I'm Lost Without You. Your theory is that the album should have ended or your thoughts, so that the album should have ended at all of this.
Yeah.
My thoughts is that why did they end with this song and not Now? Not Now is one of their best songs they've ever written, and they end with I'm Lost Without You.
Had they written and recorded Not Now at this point?
Maybe, and that might have been the fact that it came later. If that's the case, then I'll forgive it. But like genuinely, I do not understand how this is the way they want to end it because the special edition came out with Not Now on it. I don't know how much later that was, but I'm pretty sure there was a version of the album that came out.
You sure you're not thinking about their greatest hits that they did?
No, because I'm pretty sure Not Now, where I heard it was then. Like it wasn't, because where else would it have been? The greatest hits one. Like,
it was on the greatest hits.
Yeah.
But we knew it by that point. Yeah.
But where would we have known it from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It didn't come out as a single. But what did you give I'm Lost Without You?
I gave it a bad.
A bad?
Did not like this song.
What's a bad?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah,
well, I'm glad to see that we know our own bloody system.
I gave it a 2, which I think is I did not like this song.
Yeah. Not sure about it, whatever you want to call that.
No, I did not like it. I'm not sure. I'm very sure about my feelings towards this song.
Do you know what? I should have given it that.
I could have given this a 1.
I gave it a fine because I was like, I don't know, it's fine. I can see what they're trying to do. It's fine, I guess.
What are they trying to do? I can't see what they're trying to do.
And maybe I'm just being too nice. I probably should have given that a 2.
Because I had the perfect slow wind down song to wrap the album up with all of this. I don't see the purpose with this. I don't see what this achieves. It doesn't feel like a Blink song. It doesn't feel as deep as any of the other songs.
Yeah. I agree.
It's not musically interesting, with the exception of Travis's drum outro.
Yep. That's what I have.
I kind of understand. But like, man, give me like all these finishes, give me like a minute of dead sound, and then like a Travis drum solo comes in. Yeah. And that can finish the album just on its own, like just like a hidden track.
Or take that idea of because that's what I said. I love the alternate panned drum kit stuff.
Yeah.
In that ending section. They could have maybe somehow incorporated that idea into all of this and finished with a drum outro that builds up and then cuts to nothing. But the reason I gave it a fine is because I said it's a cool wrap-up song. It reminds me of off Where You Want to Be, the last track off that, where it's the really slow kind of like chorus.
All of this does that.
Credit song, like a movie.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And now thinking about it, if they finish the album with all of this, that's perfect. Yeah. I think that's a good way to finish the album. And you're right, Here's Your Letter could have been a B-side. Lost Without You doesn't need to be on any album. No. I just think the chorus and stuff, I'm like, it's a cool like end credits kind of, everyone comes out, takes their bow. Like it feels like that kind of song in the production. The double drum kit sounds that kind of go through to the end is great. Like I think that's really cool, but I think it carries a lot of the song. It's one idea carries the whole song.
The chorus makes me think of a little bit of Angels and Airwaves. Like I think you
Yes.
can hear Tom transitioning in that kind of direction.
I'd love to hear what their thoughts were behind it because maybe that would change my perspective on it a little bit.
Yeah, true. It's not talked about it ever. They never
Yeah.
play it live, obviously. 'cause
Maybe they
it's-
regret it.
Yeah.
Why did we do that? They tried. Then again, not every like swing can be a hit sort of thing. So maybe they just
Sure.
tried something new and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But what is funny, because I don't have much else to say about this and being raised, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. As soon as this song finished, it comes in with, because I have the CD ripped on my computer.
Yeah.
And the next track is Anthem Part 2 live
Yes.
in Chicago. There's a
Yeah.
kid in my class who got a boner in PE in high school. He was wearing sweatpants. It's really embarrassing. This song goes out to him. That was so jarring after listening to the Blink
Yeah.
album, being like, oh, cool. Like this epic kind of finisher. And then that comes in. So anyway, ratings for this album and what are your overall thoughts? What are you thinking?
One of my sort of like global thoughts, I mean, obviously it's an awesome album and
Yes.
a really important album for us in terms of our like musical journey.
I haven't even talked about it.
Yeah.
It's on the pillow.
Exactly. But one of the things that's like so striking about this is that nothing sounds like this. Like there are
Yes.
no other albums. Like Blink have always done a pretty good job of that. Like they don't sound like other bands. There's bands that imitate them, but they don't sound like anyone.
Yeah.
But even
That's part of what
no one-
disappointed me about One More Time because they chased a lot of modern production sounds
Yeah.
and I was
But,
expecting
like,
them to do something new.
I guess the production style, but the songs themselves.
Yeah, true.
But I don't even think imitators sound like this. Like it's unique.
Because they can't touch it. It's
Yeah.
so, I don't think people have been able to figure out exactly what they did.
I guess if you think about its legacy, though, it probably opens up people's eyes to things that you can do within the genre.
Yes.
And this was at a time when pop punk was starting to kind of bleed into like emo and that kind of thing.
Because there was probably a little part of me that thought, are Blink going to try to like bring screaming into the album? Because everyone was
Yeah.
doing that. That was
Yeah.
trendy. Are they going to try to push that? And they didn't. They went in a different direction and did
Yeah.
it so well. But then they just set the bar so high because Enema of the State, well, Dude Ranch, if you want to consider that, but Enema of the State, Take Off a Panther Jacket, Untitled album, what a 3-run series.
I had this as one of my like takeaways, like for you, the question for you, like, is that the best run of 3 albums? Like,
Yeah.
ever? Like
Yeah.
in this genre or any genre?
Yeah,
Like,
I'd love to see that if we can find another 3-run like that. You probably have to be in like Michael Jackson territory or something like
Yeah.
that to be like,
certainly in
that
this
type of-
genre, I don't think there's another 3-run. Like, there's a lot of bands that have done 2.
yeah. But
like-
3 that high. But then
Yeah.
no wonder that I felt a little bit, even though it was years later the Neighborhoods came out, but when that first came out, I was a little bit let down by it. But maybe also they were like, we're not touching that. Like how do we top that
Yeah.
2 years later? Because everything was like 2 years apart, which is no time at all.
Yeah,
When
sure.
you're young, it feels like forever. But now, being an adult, 2 years goes by like that.
Yeah,
I was talking to someone about something that happened the other day and I had to go through my photos and it was 2022. It was like 3
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago now. It goes so quick.
What do you mean by Neighborhoods was 2 years after what?
No, I'm saying is in Neighborhoods it was like 2011, I think it came out.
Yeah,
2011.
sure.
So 2011 was, I'm pretty sure. So this one was what, 2003?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah. 2 years later after that. Definitely not 2
Yeah, yeah.
years. I'm saying so Neighborhoods was
sure.
2011, not like
Yeah.
2 years after the next album. Because how could Blink, if they stayed together, have
For the kids.
yeah, how could they have topped or even matched or even come close to that? How could they have contributed to that 4-album run? There might have been a lot of pressure on them.
And I think the place that they were in by the time they toured this album,
Yeah.
like I think it would have been, I don't think they would have spent anywhere near as much time on it. It would have been a rush together job. It would have been another sort of like, let's record this album in a couple of months, absolute max.
Yeah.
And
Because
I think
they
it would have
did
been totally disjointed and
They did the Dog Eat Dog EP. You know, I've never listened to that at all. I don't
Never
think I've
listened to
heard it at all. Yeah.
wow.
I don't think so.
It's got some good songs on it.
Okay. But they did that before Neighborhoods, right? Or was
Yes.
it after?
No, I'm pretty
I
sure
think
they
it was
did it before.
But to come back with an EP is like so like it's very like kind of
Yeah.
roots-ish, but it is very much like to me, it's not like we're coming back with a creative vision. This time with One More Time, they got back together and like, we're doing an album.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna have 40 songs on it, and then there's
Yeah.
gonna be a deluxe version with 80 songs on it, and then
Yeah.
we're straight back in the studio with another 80 songs. Just so much creativity.
What do you think is like the legacy of the album?
That's a big question. I think you're right in the fact that it showed what is possible within pop punk because a lot of people, when they think of pop punk bands, think of the same guitar tone, same bass tone, same drum tone.
Yeah.
Whole album, thematically quite similar. Chord progression is quite predictable, structure very predictable, but there's very catchy songs nonetheless. But this was like, you can be the jokesters but also be deeply serious when you need to be. And I think that was the thing. It was such a contrast of them playing these lyrically heavy songs and then just making dick jokes in between still on stage. But creatively, the legacy is that what Blink will be remembered for. I think that people will be like, even if they're not Blink fans, to be like, I have to give it to them. They are way better than just a 4-chord like pop punk band.
Yeah.
So what did you end up rating it?
5.2.
Okay, 5.2. So that makes it a great album in the rating system.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you?
So this is what I was saying. If we actually go off the album version, this would make it into a crown album for me. But it actually came out at 5.73, which is 0.02 difference.
So 5.75 is the cutoff.
Yeah, 5.75, or technically it's 5.76, I think. But that brings it into crown territory. And I think that if you remove the 5 and push it up, that gives it 1 extra point. It would move it up a little bit. And I'm pretty sure it would make it a crown album. But regardless, what a fun album to go through.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So, last question.
Yes.
What are you feeling this on the album? What do you got to get right now for?
For me, it's...
What? I can't really hear you.
It's...
I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I'm feeling this.
No, where's your baguette?
Oh, sorry.
Just the random... It reminded me of my dog when she doesn't really know what to do to get the treat. I'm feeling this.
Man, we really should have talked about this beforehand.
Okay, I'll edit this out. All right, so what are you feeling?
The feeling that this gives of what it was like anticipating this album coming out, given how important it was for us as teenagers, when Blink was the only thing that mattered.
Yeah.
Listening to this and being transported to that feeling.
Yeah.
That is what I'm feeling.
That's a really good one. See, to me, my answer was just going to be, well, I have to say the opening line on the album, I got a baguette right now. You know what I mean? To fit the theme. But I just really liked what this album did for me personally, but those around me, because I think that this was the album that gave so many people respect for Blink-182. And I kept saying for years, even though I was I was a musician. I wasn't just a guy who played pop punk. I had played guitar for 7 or 8 years or something before I got introduced to pop punk or whatever. I think around that time, or probably 7 or 8 years by the time this album came out. But I'd been saying for ages, listen to Blink-182, they're good. People would be like, no, they're just like that All the Small Things band.
Yeah.
This album came out. And I loved that this album was not I told you so to people, but more so just yes, we can connect about Blink through this album. I think that that's the coolest part to me. And you're right, being at school, us being so keen. I just remember that day, as I said, coming up to me did you get it? Have you got it?
Yeah.
What did you think? The first ever episode of the book club, in year 9 or whatever, outside the B block or whatever it was in high school. But no, what a fun journey, man. It's been awesome. What a cool one.
All right, we messed up. We're new to this, give us a break. But we forgot to say what the album for the next week is. So, join us next week. Make sure you have your ratings done by then. You can get the download link in the description of this video or in the podcast as well. There'll be a link there to get the rating guide that we use, and you can follow along with us, because next week's album is, drumroll, Penny Bridge Pioneers by Mill & Collin. Also, double mistake, I forgot to say the name of the band that I showed Sam in the intro. They're called The Paradox. Go check them out on TikTok. And see you next week.
All right, so that's it. Thanks for listening. It is very late here. We knew this episode would go long because we knew we'd have a lot to say about it, but oh my goodness, it's midnight here now. And we have work in the morning, so we're going to jump off. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, if you have anything that you want to send through to us, if you want to chat to us, say anything, say hello, let us know that we're wrong. Send us voice memos if you want, because we've figured out that we can have this go through the podcaster, roadcaster thing, so we can actually play your voice memos. So send through what your thoughts are. If we're wrong, if we're right, if you agree, if you disagree, tell us what you rated as flames. I really want to hear that. You know what I mean? You paying attention? You just zoned out. You fell asleep.
What were we talking about?
I said I really want to hear what people think of flames, what they rate as flames.
Yeah, for sure.
So please send them through.
Unless it's a flame for shut up, because that's...
no, you shut up.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But Yeah, send it through because I want to hear it. We'll play it back, roast us, whatever you want. Send it through podcast@poppunkbookclub.com. Send it through and we'll make it happen. Thanks so much for listening. We're just getting started with all this podcast stuff. So feel free to share it to a friend. If you know someone who was into this when they were younger, like this music as well, please pass it on. And if you want an album done, you want it as part of the book club, send it through to us and we'll add it to our upcoming roster so we can all go through it together. Please show us albums that we might not have heard before because we're always on the quest for the flame, we'll say. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you guys later.